Council, thank you for the lunch. Hope you all had a good lunch, and we'll get started again. I'll call it back to order. We'll ask the Madam Secretary to do the roll call for the afternoon session.
Bryce Underwoods. Absent Steve Moran.
Oh,
Ted Knife Jr. Excused medical. John Kessler.
Here.
Kenrick DePriest. Sharon Lee.
Here.
Mary Miller. Here. Kelsey Haskell.
Here.
Thad Rose.
Here.
Derek Bartlett. Absent Francine Hall.
Here.
Joe Brinksplenny. Bob Walters. Ronald Russo.
Oh.
Tuffy Thompson.
Here.
Dean DePriest. Thank you.
okay. We'll proceed with the Education Committee report. Mrs. Whitebull, are you ready? Give you the floor at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We had an education meeting on October 19th, 2023. Present was myself, excused Vice Chairwoman Sharon Lee, absent Bryce in the Woods, present Steve Moran, excused Ted Knife Jr., Council Representative, present Kenrick DePriest, John Kessler, Kelsey Haskell, Thad Rose, absent Council Representative Joe Brinksplenny, present Council Representative Francine Hall, absent Council Representative Tuffy Thompson and Council Representative Ronald Russo. Meeting was called to order around 9:48 a.m. Meeting was called to order around 9:48 a.m. If we go down to page 2, there was a tribal council action. There was an attorney bill for council members' telephone call. There was a motion by Council Representative John Kessler, second by Council Representative Steve Moran, to refer to the Budget and Finance Committee to pay the $277. Motion carried with a vote of 6 yes, 0 no, 0 not voting. And what happened is, this is a Taquini School's attorney billed the Taquini School for a telephone call at the Taquini School Board. They submitted the bill to be paid by the tribe. So I'll make that motion to refer to the Budget and Finance Committee.
Got a motion to refer to the Budget Finance Committee by Mrs. Whitebull, second by Ms. Lee. All in favor, raise your hand. At 12 yes, 0 opposed, motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, this next council action was already taken care of by myself. I contacted the tribal health CEO, and she was going to send some people down to the school as well as and into the communities to address the head lice issue, but I will go ahead and put it on the floor just to make sure that there's follow-up. There was a request for assistance with the head lice. There was a motion by Council Representative John Kessler, second by Kelsey Haskell, to refer the head lice issue issued on education and treatment for all schools to the Tribal Health Department for families. Motion carried with a vote of 6 yes, 0 no, 0 not voting. What had happened, Mr. Chairman, the information is there were 41 kids with head lice at one of our grant schools. 8 students did not have head lice. The parents were contacted, and the next day when the girls returned, their heads were all shaved. Taquini School is requesting assistance in this matter with the tribal health to do outreach in the communities for parents. So this is a referral. I already contacted the tribal health CEO. It's been done. But I would like to, I'm gonna put it on the floor. It's a referral to make sure that it's followed through. So that'll be my motion to refer.
Okay, we got a motion by Mrs. Whitebull to refer. And I didn't catch where you're referring to.
We're referring them to the tribal health CEO to do community outreach, education, community outreach.
Okay. Motion and a second by Ms. Lee. All in favor, raise your hand. 13 yes, motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There was a request to remove 2 buses from the Takini campus, motion by Council Representatives John Kessler, second by Thad Rose, to have the Department of Transportation remove the buses from Takini School and have them placed in the tribal auction inventory. Motion carried with a vote of 6 yes, 0 no, 0 not voting. The old school buses are sitting at Takini School, will be vandalized and become a health hazard for the kids. They need assistance in moving them off. I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman, to have the Department of Transportation remove the buses from Takini School and have them placed in the tribal auction inventory.
Got a motion by Mrs. Whiteball, second by Ms. Lee, and Mr. Brinks plenty. Any comments? Comments or questions, council members? Madam Secretary, please call for the vote.
Junior,
It's a referral? Someone said it was a referral?
What's the referral?
It's not, it's a motion for the, that was the last one.
Oh, someone said referral.
Motion to have
Ted Knife Junior, absent. John Kessler,
Yes.
Kenrick DePreez, Sharon Lee,
Yes.
Mary Miller, Kelsey Haskell.
Yes.
Thad Rose.
Yes.
Derek Bartlett,
Yes.
Francine Hall,
Yes.
Joe Brinks Plenty, Bob Walters, Ronald Russo, Tuffy Thompson. Thank you.
$13 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain, 2 absent, motion carries.
There was a reduction in speed for school bus stops. There was a motion by, this has already been taken care of, but I'm gonna put it on the record. Motion by Council Representative Thad Rose, second by Francine Hall, to have criminal or letter to the South Dakota Department of Transportation with signs that we use for speed protection and sign for school bus stops. Motion carried with a vote of 6 yes, 0 no, 0 not voting. Mr. Chairman, if you remember last week or the beginning of December, when the Department of Transportation came and paid us a visit, that was brought up, and then afterwards, we had a conversation with them about it, and they stated they were gonna, that the lady was gonna come out and take care of that. So the next, tribal council action required is already being done by executive resolution on the zero replacement project. So if we go down, the next one, the Title I housing ID cost, that's already been done and approved by tribal council in the December session by executive resolution. Mr. Chairman, the next tribal council action is to approve the September budget report 2023. There was a motion by Council Representatives Kelsey Haskell, second by John Kessler, to approve the submission of the September budget report 2023. Motion carried with a vote of 4 yes, 0 no, 0 not voting, and 2 absent. I do my motion.
Got a motion by Mrs. Whiteball, is there a second? Second by Mr. Kessler. Comments or questions? Madam Secretary, please call for the vote.
Bryce Indowitz, absent. Steve Moran,
Yes.
Ted Knife Junior, absent. John Kessler,
Yes.
Kenrick DePreez, Sharon Lee,
Yes.
Mary Miller, Kelsey Haskell.
Yes.
Thad Rose.
Yes.
Derek Bartlett.
Yes.
Francine Hall. Joe Brinks Plenty, Bob Walters, Ronald Russo, Tuffy Thompson. Thank you.
$13 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain, 2 absent, motion carries. Mrs. Whiteball.
The last two, motions were approved by executive resolution by tribal council in the December, council session. We adjourned the meeting, at 12:37 p.m. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You have more minutes?
Mr. Chairman, Tribal Council, we didn't have a meeting in November, and then our meeting was scheduled for today at December, or today, but we're having our special Tribal Council session. The only really pending things is that we should approve the Head Start's budget for October and November, or November and December. However, I don't have them present. I'll try to find them and I'll get them and I'll present them if you will allow me sometime during council today, later today or tomorrow. That's okay? Yeah. Council, if you're okay with that? That's, you know what I mean? Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Hall.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, we haven't had a meeting, education committee meeting now since October otherwise I would bring it up there. But what concerns me is the Cheyenne River Sioux tribe is the grantee for Takini School and Teoshpaitopa School. And I believe that somebody is being deficient in not informing us when they don't do their audits, because ultimately we are the grantee. And so if there are any unallowable costs associated with those audits, or having late audits jeopardizes the continued funding of those grants, we should be informed, and we're not informed. And that really concerns me. So I like I said, we haven't had a education committee meeting, otherwise this would be brought there. And but I still think that we need to I'd like to make a motion that the schools, the tribal grant schools, inform the tribe whenever we have, inform the tribe when they're late in their audits, and provide us with a timeline of when those audits are going to be complete. Like I said, so I'd like to make that a motion.
Second.
Got a motion by Mrs. Hall, second by Mr. Russo. Comments or questions, Madam? Mr. Russo, go ahead.
Thank you, Chairman. I like the motion. Thank you for making the motion, Representative Hall. I'm still concerned. I haven't seen any initiative from the Education Committee as far as the creation of the 504 board that we talked about for the impact aid. And also, we took action here at Tribal Council a few months ago now to start looking at which type of school program or school system is the most beneficial for the Cheyenne River Sioux tribe. And that's in regards to the PL 638 school systems, the BIE school systems, and also the public law or public school system. And one of my main concerns is that these public schools, they're getting so much funding, which is great. And but the problem is I've been hearing that a lot of these public schools have well over $20 million in their bank accounts. So if all this money, impact aid, is in lieu of tax, and it's for Indian children, how can these public schools have such a huge surplus of impact aid funding? It just doesn't make sense to me that this is happening. I'd like to see, a 504 board be put together. That way we can ensure that our children are getting the best opportunity possible by these public schools. And also the tribe needs to recognize the amount of funding that these public schools get and really take a deliberate effort in trying to capitalize on this funding, because right now we're not. I don't know why we would want to be a PL 638 school if the funding deficiencies are so rampant that it's creating these really, really serious issues with the education, our inability to provide a good quality education and opportunity for our children if all we have to do is become a public school. Because if you go to these public law schools, the PL 638 schools, they're state certified, they're BIE certified. So there's, you know, what's the point of being a PL 638 if you still got to jump through the state and the federal hurdles? But all we do is get less funding, and not just a little bit less funding. I mean, look at these schools, and I sound like a broken record. It's time to start doing better for tribal education, and I'm continue to be discontent and not very happy with the outcome of education here under the leadership of Dr. Farley. Thank you.
Okay, it's not to mention people's names, employees' names.
Mr. Chairman,
Ms. Lee, Ms. Weibel, sorry.
thank you. I'd like to respond. Takini School is current on their audit. They're currently in the 2023 year. Padopa School is behind 2 years, I believe, and they're currently working on catching those up. As far as putting together a committee, this motion was probably done before I was the education committee chair. So I'll have to research that and get with Dr. Farley, you know what I mean? That Mr. Russo, Council Representative Russo is talking about. And then the second thing is that, why would we want to be a public school and give up our tribal sovereignty? You know what I mean? He took an oath, we all took an oath of office to defend our Constitution. And we know that you guys have complaints about Dupree and Timberlake. What do you think is going to happen if you turn our Bureau School over, Takini and Padopa, into district schools? Their district, they'll fall under Dupree. Takini will. Padopa will fall under probably CEB or Timberlake. You got to look at the boundaries. So we don't want to give up our tribal sovereignty. Okay, point of order, you're right. So I just wanted to put that out there that, you know what I mean, when you're putting these on council floor, you need to research these and make sure. But I will check with Dr. Farley about the putting together the group with regards to what Council Representative Russo was talking about. Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion and a second regarding audits. The tribe be notified of any late audits or audit status. So we'll call for the vote, Madam Secretary.
Bryce Underwoods, absent. Steve Moran.
Yes.
Tenai Jr., absent. John Kessler.
Yes.
Kenrick Dupreez. Sharon Lee.
Yes.
Mary Miller. Kelsey Haskell.
Yes.
Thad Rose.
Yes.
Derek Bartlett.
Yes.
Francine Hall.
Yes.
Joe Bringspenny. Bo Walters. Ronald Russo.
Out.
Duffy Thompson. Thank you.
Thirteen yes, 0 no, 0 abstain, 2 absent. Motion carries. I believe we can move on. And Mr. Bartley, you had something?
Yeah, Chairman, I got a couple action items regarding KLJ. They sent me a couple invoices that contacted Matt Corcoran up in Sioux Falls, and we got a $15,171.12, and we got another one for $47,723.08. I'd like to make a motion to approve and refer to the tribal treasurer to
Second.
pay them out. I can give these to the treasurer, Chairman.
I just want to submit those to the treasurer, then we can take them to wherever they need to go to get paid.
Okay. So motion referred to treasurer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because if the contract is already in place, then he would just need to process the voucher, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, this is regarding the Power Arena. I know they're working on roads, contracts and things like that, but this one's regarding the Power Arena, so they sent that to me.
You can just submit those to the treasurer. You don't need a motion.
Okay.
Okay, we go on to enrollment. Mr. Russo. It look like you have some minutes here from November. Give you the floor at this time. Mr. Russo, go ahead.
Thank you, Chairman. First minutes for the enrollment committee are the Tuesday, October 31st, 2023, 9:30 a.m. First motion was made by Council Representative Robert Walters, second by Representative Brand, to reconsider approving the enrollment of an individual through the grandparent and to refer this to tribal council for consideration. Is that correct? So what's that on? They support it or not support it? Chairman, we're gonna table that until we can get more documentation.
Okay.
The next motion is motion by Bob Walters, second by Steve Moran, to approve enrolling the named individuals on the majority list and refer to tribal council for consideration. That'd be my motion.
Okay, we got a motion by Mr. Russo, second by Mr. Walters. Want to read those in now, or?
Yes, Chairman.
Okay.
Is this one here? Okay. The first, member, or the first person on the list is Dupreez Ania Ebrin, born.
Don't say the birthday.
What do you just say that and then?
Either
follow
say,
along?
yeah, just say father, person, the Christian,
Okay.
mother.
Father Preston Dupreez, Shine River. Mother Chardrell Earring, Shine River. Christensen Lola Marie. Father Robert Christensen, non-Indian. Mother Nikita Knight, Shine River. Cotter Devin Elaine. Father Tyler Cotter. Lawrence Lux Russell. Mother Megan Lawrence, Shine River. Lovejoy Hayes, Alika May, Tate. Mother Rebecca Hayes, Shine River. Wiloki Walker Wilder. Father Andrew Wiloki, Shine River. Mother Irene Byatt, Shine River. Zephyr Aliana Darling. Father Elijah Zephyr, Shine River. Mother Latia Bearstop, Shine River. Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Russo to approve, second by Mr. Walters. Comments or questions, council members? We'll ask for a roll call vote, Madam Secretary, whenever you're ready.
Bryce Underwoods, absent. Steve Moran.
Yes.
Ted Knife Jr., absent. John Kessler.
Yes.
Kenrick Dupreez. Sharon Lee.
Yes.
Mary Miller. Kelsey Haskell.
Yes.
Thad Rose.
Yes.
Derek Bartlett. Absent. Francine Hall.
Yes,
Joe Brinksplenny. Bob Walters. Ronald Russo.
Out.
Tuffy Thompson.
12 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain, 3 absent. Motion carries. Mr. Russo?
Thank you, Chairman. The next list is the 2/3 list. I'll just go ahead and read those in the record. First name is Abbott's Elizabeth Chase and Abbott's Silas Walker. Father Sebastian Rosas, non-Indian. Mother Melanie Gray Eagle, Shine River. Alatina Toa Matashka. Father William Altini, non-Indian. Mother Brittany Barron, Shine River. Families too, right? From the Demery family.
I thought that.
No, I didn't
say. Yeah, that's right. That's Matoska. Yeah.
Tosca.
Yeah, but just keep going. All right.
Ankle Eunice Joy. Father Kenneth Guerrero, Shine River. Mother Aurelia Ankle, non-enrollee from the Garrow family. Barden Tristan Garrett, Barden Billy Joe Marie, Barden Maddie Isabella, Barden Emma Grace, Barden Sarah Elizabeth, father Theodore Barden, Cheyenne River, comes from the Chasenock family. Mother Suzanne Johnson, non-Indian. Bison Trayson Taylor, father Makpia Bison, Cheyenne River, comes from the Bison Swan family. Mother Riley Earhart, non-Indian. Bull Sydney Jade Sydney, father is John Bull, non-Indian. Mother Cherry Quist, Cheyenne River, comes from the Garrow family. Boyd Sky Emery, father Joyce Boyd, Cheyenne River, comes from the Traversy family. Mother Willow Kenyon, non-Indian. Duchnell Macelyn Marie, mother Marilyn Duchnell, Cheyenne River, comes from the Duchnell family. Eric Micah Wambly, father Jacob Eric, Cheyenne River, comes from the Houston family. Mother Janae Cerna Stance, non-enrollee. Fugier Esther Marie, father Jesse Frugier, non-Indian. Mother Tabitha Chulinger, Cheyenne River, comes from the Thompson family. Hani Dustin James, father Larry Hani, non-native. Mother Terry Claymore, Cheyenne River, comes from the Claymore family. Heavener Charles Patrick, father Charles Heavener, non-native. Mother Catherine Garcia, Cheyenne River, comes from the Van Meter family. Lanx Henry James, father William Lanx, non-native. Mother Whitney Lawrence, Cheyenne River, comes from the Lawrence family. LaPlante Uchapi Zapta Hokshila, mother Allison LaPlante, Cheyenne River, comes from the LaPlante family. Little Crow Nola Sage, mother Heather Coleman, Cheyenne River, comes from the Bald Eagle family. Logan Letty Lane, Logan Lane Russell, Logan Barbara Ray, mother Victoria Logan, Cheyenne River, comes from the Hotchkiss family. Martinez Coda Summer, father Edgar Martinez, non-native. Mother Rihanna Uses Many, Cheyenne River, comes from the Uses Many family. Mercer Liam Daniel, Mercer Rihanna Ray, father Daniel Mercer, non-native. Mother Don Pickard, Cheyenne River, comes from the Fish family. Ross Azalea Raid, father Orion Ross, Cheyenne River, comes from the Gudler family. Mother Brooke Miller, non-native. Simone Tate James Dean, father Nathaniel Simone, Cheyenne River, comes from the Simone family. Mother Chantel Maupin, Cheyenne River, comes from the Maupin family. Thompson Hazel Ann, father Darwin Thompson, Cheyenne River, comes from the Thompson family. Mother Jasmine Northrop, non-native. Traversy Zaya Renee, mother Donnie Traversy, Cheyenne River, comes from the Traversy family. West Gage Maverick, father Patrick West, non-native. Mother Cassandra LeCompte, Cheyenne River, comes from the LeCompte family. West Vivian Ellen, West Josephine Marie, father James West, non-native. Mother Valerie Crawlery, Cheyenne River, comes from the Livermont family. Whiting Nathan Leslie Lyle, father Randolph Whiting Jr., non-native. Moody McKenna Rose Marie, father Clifford Moody, non-native. Mother to both children, Hannah Ray Buffalo, Cheyenne River, Buffalo family. Motion to approve.
Got a motion approved by Mr. Rousseau, second by Mr. Walters. Comments or questions? This will take 2/3 vote to approve these ones presented. Madam Secretary, please call for the vote.
Bryce Inwoods, absent Steve Moran.
Yes.
Ted Knife Jr., absent John Kessler.
Yes.
Kenrick Dupreez. Sharon Lee.
Yes.
Mary Miller.
Yes.
Kelsey Haskell.
Yes.
Thad Rose.
Yes.
Derek Bartlett.
Yes.
Francine Hall.
Yes.
Joel Brinksplenny. Bob Walters. Ronald Russo.
Out.
Tuffy Thompson. Thank you.
Thirteen yes, 0 no, 0 abstain, 2 absent. Motion carries. Mr. Russo.
Chairman, I have 2 relinquishments. Start at the third whereas. Joni M. Tapio is requesting relinquishment from the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe. Whereas she desires to enroll into Leech Lake Tribe and that her request for cancellation of membership is made freely with the full understanding that henceforth she shall cease to hold membership in the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe. And whereas the enrollment committee has reviewed Joni M. Tapio request and recommends approval, and that her membership shall be canceled on the date of her acceptance into the Leech Lake Tribe. Now, therefore, be resolved that the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe Tribal Council hereby approves the request of Joni M. Tapio, and that this cancellation of membership is made with the full understanding that henceforth she shall cease to hold membership in the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe, and that she shall no longer be eligible for the benefits of the tribal membership. And be it finally resolved, a disclaimer. Or is that not the, or I gotta read that in too? That the Leech Lake Tribe Enrollment Office shall notify the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe Enrollment Office, Eagle Butte, South Dakota, 57625, of acceptance into the Leech Lake Tribe prior to being stricken from the rolls. Motion to approve.
Got a motion to approve by Mr. Russo, second by Mr. Walters. Comments or questions? Madam Secretary, please call for the vote.
Bryce Woods, absent Steve Moran.
Yes.
Ted Knife Jr., absent John Kessler.
Yes.
Kenrick Dupreez. Sharon Lee.
Yes.
Mary Miller.
Yes.
Kelsey Haskell.
Yes.
Thad Rose.
Yes.
Derek Bartlett.
Yes.
Francine Hall.
Yes.
Joe Brinksplenny. Bob Walters. Ronald Russo.
Out.
Tuffy Thompson. Thank you.
13 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain, 2 absent. Motion carries.
Chairman,
Go ahead.
next relinquishment. Whereas Harold Sitzpour is requesting relinquishment from the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe, and whereas he desires to enroll into the Oglala Sioux Tribe, and that his request for cancellation of membership is made freely and with the full understanding, and whereas the enrollment committee has reviewed Harold Sitzpour request and recommends approval, and that his membership shall be canceled on the date of his acceptance into the Oglala Sioux Tribe. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe Tribal Council hereby approves the request of Harold Sitzpour and in the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe, and that he shall no longer be eligible for the benefits of tribal membership. And be it finally resolved that the Oglala Sioux Tribe Enrollment Office shall notify the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe Enrollment Office, Eagle Butte, South Dakota, 57625, of acceptance into the Oglala Sioux Tribe prior to being stricken from the rolls. Motion to approve.
We got a motion by Mr. Russo, second by Mr. Walters to approve. Comments or questions? Madam Secretary, please call for the vote.
Bryce Woods, absent Steve Moran.
Yes.
Ted Knife Jr., absent John Kessler.
Yes.
Kenrick Dupreez. Sharon Lee.
Yes.
Mary Miller.
Yes.
Kelsey Haskell.
Yes.
Thad Rose.
Yes.
Derek Bartlett.
Yes.
Francine Hall. Joe Brinksplenny. Bob Walters. Ronald Russo.
Out.
Tuffy Thompson.
13 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain, 2 absent. Motion carries. Mr. Russo.
Thank you, Chairman. That's concludes the October Enrollment Committee meeting. The next meeting is the November 28th, 2023 Enrollment Committee meeting. The first list is a majority list. I'll read them in the record. Bear Stops, Emerly Phelan, Father Ton Bear Stops, Cheyenne River, Mother Dane Collins, Cheyenne River, Eagle Chandler Paul, Mother Serena Eagle, Cheyenne River, Ross Hunter Antonio, Mother, Mariah Ross, Cheyenne River. Smart, Carol Calvin. Mother, Lily Smart, Cheyenne River. Motion to approve.
We got a motion by Mr. Russo, second by Mr. Walters to approve. Comments or questions regarding the matter? Looks like there's only 4 of them. Madam Secretary, please call for the vote. Change their contract or something. Just ask her how she wants to.
Bryce Cinderwoods, absent Steve Moran.
Yes.
Ted Knife Jr., absent John Kessler.
Yes.
Kenrick DePreez, Sharon Lee,
Yes.
Mary Miller. Kelsey Haskell.
Yes.
Thad Rose.
Yes.
Derek Bartlett,
Yes.
Francine Hall. Joe Brinksplenny. Bob Walters. Ronald Russo.
Out.
Tuffy Thompson.
13 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain, 2 absent. Motion carries. Mr. Russo.
Thank you, Chairman. The next list is the 2/3 list. Fackelman, Isabella Sky. Fackelman, Desmond Jorn. Father, Jesse Fackelman. Cheyenne River comes from the Fackelman family. Mother, Angelina Ortiz, non-native. Frenier, Danette Elena. Frenier Jr., George Phillip. Father, George Frenier, Cheyenne River, comes from the All-Faith family. Mother, Babette Mossner, non-native. Gonzalez Vancomer, Fabian Vicente. Father, Ruby Vancomer, non-native. Mother, Jasmine Harvey, Cheyenne River, comes from the Frenier family. Iron Road, Caston Cruz. Mother, Samantha Iron Road, Cheyenne River, comes from the Jewett family. Callie, Brianna Bridget Rose. Mother, Pandora Smith, Cheyenne River, comes from the Traversy family. Longcrow, J.C. Lee. Father, Ray Longcrow, non-enrollee. Mother, Lindy Carter, Cheyenne River, comes from the Jewett family. Merle Carter Dale. Merle Madeline Grace. Father, Benjamin Merle, Cheyenne River, comes from the Landry family. Mother, Melanie Fenton, non-native. Porter, Sakai Christopher Charles. Father, Ian Christopher Porter, non-native. Mother, Mariah Fraser, Cheyenne River, comes from the Simon family. Weedy, Nathaniel Patrick. Father, Thomas Weedy Sr., non-native. Mother, Cassandra Peck, Cheyenne River, comes from the Charger family. Motion to approve.
Got a motion by Mr. Russo, second by Mr. Walters to approve. We'll call for the vote. Madam Secretary.
Bryce Cinderwoods, absent Steve Moran.
Yes.
Ted Knife Jr., absent John Kessler.
Yes.
Kenrick DePreez. Sharon Lee.
Yes.
Mary Miller. Kelsey Haskell.
Yes.
Thad Rose.
Yes.
Derek Bartlett.
Yes.
Francine Hall. Joe Brinksplenny. Bob Walters. Ronald Russo.
Out.
Tuffy Thompson. Thank you.
Thirteen yes, 0 no, 0 abstain, 2 absent. Motion carries. Mr. Russo.
Chairman. We have one more from the November Enrollment Committee. It's a birth certificate for an individual who is eligible for enrollment by 2/3 vote of tribal council through the grandparent who is a member of the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe. Name is Van Meter Blaine Roy. Father, Roy Van Meter. Non-enrollee. Mother, Beverly Snyder. Non-Indian. Grandfather, Arthur Van Meter, Cheyenne River. Motion to approve.
Got a motion by Mr. Russo to approve, second by Mr. Walters. Comments or questions, council members? Madam Secretary, please call for the vote.
Bryce Cinderwoods, absent Steve Moran.
Yes.
Kenife Jr., absent John Kessler.
Abstain.
Kenrick DePreez. Sharon Lee,
Yes.
Mary Miller. Kelsey Haskell.
Yes.
Thad Rose.
Yes.
Derek Bartlett.
Yes.
Francine Hall.
No.
Joe Brinksplenny. Bob Walters. Ronald Russo.
Out.
Tuffy Thompson. Thank you.
Ten yes, 0 no. Oh, I'm sorry. 10 yes, 1 no, 2 abstain, 2 absent. Motion carries. Mr. Russo.
That concludes enrollment for November. Thank you.
Thank you for the enrollment report.
Chairman,
Go ahead, Mr. Bartlett.
Chairman, I got some wisdom keepers and fair board. I don't know if you want me to submit those for the record.
Go ahead.
Okay, I got a Monday, we had a wisdom keepers meeting, Monday, March 27th. We had a quorum present. I got a note as no action needed by council. Just like to submit those for the record. March 27th, wisdom keepers minutes. And then we had another meeting on April 24th. We had a wisdom keepers meeting. There's 2 actions that there's So Chairman, there was a meeting on Wisdom Keepers meeting April 24th. There was a motion by Gilbert Red Dog, seconded by Virginia Whitefeather, to approve of the old WIC office for the Wisdom Keepers office and to rescind all of the actions regarding that building. That'll be my motion.
What's the date on those? I didn't hear you.
These ones are April 24th, Wisdom Keepers meeting. And then that first one was March 27th, Wisdom Keepers meeting. So there was a motion to use the old WIC office for Wisdom Keepers office and to rescind all of the actions regarding that building. So council knows that there's a lot of actions regarding that old WIC office, that double wide behind the current WIC office. We didn't have a moving vehicle from property to move that office, but the Wisdom Keepers took this action. You look at the bylaws and the policies of the Wisdom Keepers, they should have their own office. They should have their own director. They should have their own secretaries. So it's not 100%. From my understanding, when Chairman Frazier created this Wisdom Keepers back when he was chairman, so he's not the chairman now. So this is kind of like falling to the wayside. But as long as we have a Wisdom Keepers board and council still wants to keep this Wisdom Keepers, we need to support the meetings. We need a elderly protection team to give these reports. Right now we're using Caden or Sydney to take the minutes. Sounds like Corey Eagle staff's gonna be taking minutes again as of yesterday. He's gonna be taking the minutes again, so we have a secretary again. But before, I mean, we need because Corey's doing his own. He's a director of support services, so you have him taking the minutes for the Wisdom Keepers board. But if you look at the bylaws, I don't know if my colleagues or council even read the bylaws. I read them, and the guy that gave me the bylaws was Gib Red Dog, and so I'm kind of the guy that's trying to put this together for the Wisdom Keepers to get it up to par where it should be. Right now, it's just they come and give reports. The elders, the current ones that are sitting on there might be 3 or 4. We have 2 vacant spots now, so. But that's the wishes of the Wisdom Keepers. There's a motion by Gib Red Dog, seconded by Virginia Whitefeather. Late Virginia and late Gib made this motion to use the old WIC office for the Wisdom Keepers office. That's my motion.
Got a motion by Mr. Bartlett. Is there a second? Second by Mrs. Hall. Comments or questions on the action? Yes.
Is that the double wide? Do we have to rescind that action? Did we give it to somebody already? Like, to be used for shelter or something? Veterans, did we give it to the veterans?
Yeah, Mary, the
We
motion,
assigned it, and this was before this council, Derek and Councilor Representative Bartlett, and I don't remember, I think it was either for shelter or veterans.
yeah, Mary, that's why,
So we
Mr.
should
Walters.
rescind that action. So
Yeah,
first-
well, that's why it says, and rescind all other actions regarding that building.
Oh, okay, I didn't get that.
Yep.
'Cause I don't have the minutes in front of me.
Chairman, I just figured, not to take this in any direction, but, I just figured the Budget Committee Chair, council allowed her to present without the minutes, so out of respect, should allow these minutes to go through too. I mean, I got them here, I'm reading them for the record, so.
Any other comments? Madam Secretary, please call for the vote.
Bryce Cinderwoods, absent. Steve Moran.
Yes.
Ted Knife Jr., absent. John Kessler.
Yes.
Kenrick DePreez. Sharon Lee.
Yes.
Mary Miller.
Yes.
Kelsey Haskell.
Yes.
Thad Rose.
Yes.
Derek Bartlett.
Yes.
Francine Hall.
Yes.
Joe Brinksplenny. Bob Walters. Ronald Russo. Absent. Tuffy Thompson. Thank you.
Twelve yes, 0 no, 0 abstain, 3 absent, motion carries. You have anything else, Mr. Bartlett?
Yeah, Chairman, there was a motion by Virginia Whitefeather, second by Maureen Hall, to approve building the residential treatment facility in Swipperd area through original funds set aside for this construction. That'll be my motion.
I believe we have a action in place, Mr. Bartlett, that's kind of been the agreed upon site. So you probably should have to rescind that action before
Okay,
this
Chairman.
one.
Okay, Chairman, I'll pull that motion.
Okay, motion's been pulled.
Okay. Okay, Chairman, that concludes the minutes of April 24th, Wisdom Keepers. We had a meeting on May 9th, Tuesday, Wisdom Keepers Board. There was a motion by Jay Cook, second by Gib Red Dog, to have the tribe pay for the executive director position, assistant director position, and to designate the old WIC office to the Wisdom Keepers Board. That'll be my motion.
Can you restate that?
Yeah, Chairman, there was a motion by Jay Cook, seconded by Gilbert Red Dog, to have the tribe pay for the executive director position, assistant director position, and to designate the old WIC office to the Wisdom Keepers Board.
Want to refer that to the budget committee? We probably need to find the funds to
Yes.
do that.
Motion referred to budget.
Okay, we got a motion to refer. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Brinksplenny. All in favor, raise your hand. 12 yes, motion carries. Mr. Bartlett?
Okay, Chairman, thank you. That concludes the May 9th Wisdom Keepers Board meeting. Chairman, we had another meeting on June 20th, Tuesday, Wisdom Keepers Board. There was a motion by Clara LeBeau, second by Annie Walker, for the tribe to pay for the secretary and treasurer for the Wisdom Keepers Board. Motion to refer to budget.
Got a motion to refer to budget by Mr. Bartlett. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Walters. All in favor, raise your hand. Got 10, 11, yes. Opposed, one not voting, motion carries. Mr. Bartlett.
Thank you, Chairman. There was a Wisdom Keepers Board meeting on Tuesday, July 11th. And no action, just for the record. I'd like to submit that for the record. That's Tuesday, July 11th, Wisdom Keepers Board. That concludes the Wisdom Keeper Board. We're caught up on Wisdom Keepers Board minutes. I think Sydney's bringing the last one from yesterday. There's some action in there that needs to be referred to budget. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bartlett. We'll move on to health. Mrs. Hall. Almost called you Garo. I was like, fighting that urge.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll probably need some help, okay, just to forewarn you. Okay, we had a Health Committee meeting Thursday, October 26th at 9 o'clock. Well, 9:30, called the meeting to order at 9:30. Steve Moran, Bob Walters, Ron Russo, Mary Miller, White Bull, Joe Brings Plenty, and Sharon Lee were present. Others, Mr. Steve Moran did the prayer. Others present were Justin Keckler, IHS CEO, Ramona Simon, Tribal Health CEO, Dr. Ness, physician, Chief Red Crow, Law Enforcement, Joaquina Peta, Behavioral Health, Bert Dillabaugh, and Joe Yersheta, Native Biodata Consortium. We had a motion by, well, that's in-house, but we had a motion by Council Representative Steve Moran, seconded by Council Representative Ron Russo to approve the agenda for the Health Committee meeting. And the discussion, Mr. Russo feels we shouldn't do the approval process for any committees. Some committees have the agenda approval and some don't. Mr. Russo feels like any concerns can be invalidated, and he doesn't think that the committee should be suppressing the members' voices. Mr. Russo feels that when the committee approves the agenda, it pretty much stamps the agenda, and now nothing can be added, or if anything that was brought up that was not on the agenda, council can throw it out. So there was a motion by Council Representative Steve Moran, seconded by Council Representative Ron Russo, to do away with the agenda approval process for all committees from here on out. That'll be my motion.
I think that would be in-house, I think.
Well, this is for all committees, though, it says, not just Health Committee. Where'd you go?
It's kind of up to the committees, I think, how they want to manage their meetings. We got a motion by Ms. Hall. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Moran. Comments? Mrs. Weibel?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, many years ago, council passed a resolution establishing the committees, and they set up their own procedures, quorums, and rules. And so that's how it's done, like Chairman LeBeau said they did. It's within the committees to determine. And I like having an agenda because we always put public comments at first so the public can come in. Do you know what I mean? And if the public comes in when we're having a meeting, we still try to get them the floor. Each committee should try to do that. I like an agenda. Thank you.
Any other comments, council members on the action? Ms. Haskell, go ahead.
I think our agendas are important, and as a budget chair, I like to stick to my agenda, so I will not be following any other process. Make our I don't know her title, but it makes her life comptroller. Makes her life easier too, and she's commented on how much easier it is when we stick to our agenda. So that's how I will be conducting my meetings. Thank you.
Any other comments, council members? Madam Secretary, please call for the vote.
Bryce Underwoods, absent Steve Moran.
Yes.
Ted Knife Jr., absent John Kessler.
No.
Kenrick DePreez. Sharon Lee. Absent Mary Miller. No. Kelsey Haskell.
No.
Thad Rose.
No.
Derek Bartlett.
Yes.
Francine Hall. Joe Brings Plenty.
Out.
Bob Walters. Ronald Russo. Absent Tuffy Thompson.
4 yes, 7 no, 0 abstain, 4 absent, motion fails. Mrs. Hall, you want to go on to your next one?
Sure. Let's see. Okay, motion by Council Representative Ron Russo, seconded by Council Representative Joseph Brings Plenty to approve resolution to establish an alcohol, meth, mental health, synthetic opioids, and fentanyl protocol to tell IHS what we need at this facility. That'll be my motion.
Got a motion by Mrs. Hall, second by Mr. Walters. Comments or questions? Do you have a resolution, Mrs. Hall?
I don't know if they do or not. I think what the discussion was is that, anyway, Dr. Ness was going to get with Ms. Simon to come up with and put together a comprehensive policy that covers all the things that people are going to do with drugs on the terms of substances, and also to cover mental health. So it sounds like they're going to do a policy, which I imagine they're going to bring back to tribal health and then come to council. Is that more like in-house then? Okay. Okay, let's see here. Is this next one in-house then? It says motion by Council Representative Ron Russo, seconded by Council Representative Joseph Brings Plenty to have all medical personnel to be able to immediately sign an involuntary commitment order, ICO. Is that a council action? Okay. That'll be my motion.
Got a motion by Mrs. Hall, second by Mr. Bartlett. Comments or questions, council members? Madam Secretary, please call for the vote.
Bryce Underwoods, absent Steve Moran.
Yes.
Ted Knife Jr., absent John Kessler.
Yes.
Kenrick DePreez. Sharon Lee. Absent Mary Miller. Kelsey Haskell.
Yes.
Thad Rose.
Yes.
Derek Bartlett.
Yes.
Francine Hall.
Yes?
Joe Brings Plenty. Bob Walters. Ronald Russo. Absent Tuffy Thompson.
10 yes, 0 no, 1 abstain, 4 absent. Motion carries. Mrs. Hall?
Mr. Chairman, I have a question.
What?
Okay, it's back to that previous motion. We don't have a resolution to establish the alcohol, mental health, synthetic opiate, and fentanyl protocol.
No, it sounded like what they were going to do was draft a policy.
Mr. Chairman, I don't know if this is the proper place, you can tell me if it's not to bring this up, but I understand that we're having problems with fentanyl on our reservation now, and that we know it's in our communities with our younger people, and especially our young minors, and Narcan. Is that what it's called? Is there a way we can do anything to have our CHRs and our police officers carry that when they're called?
Yes, yesterday in the meeting, Health Committee meeting, on Monday, we had the Attorney General there, and we have our settlement from the opioid settlement is 1.2 million. We did not take any action. I think we referred it to budget to the budget committee because we've got 1.2 million from that settlement. Apparently, the treasurer has it, or it's in it's here. And along with that, they were going to send Narcan. So many, I don't remember how many, but they're sending Narcan to us, and we needed to have a place for them to send it. So they're sending it to IHS, and then they're going to come up with some protocol on how to distribute that. But they wanted to make it available. I think one of the suggestions that Ms. Simon made was like a vending machine, so people can just come and get it. It sounded like the vending, like at IHS. So.
Mr. Chairman, yeah, and it was a suggestion made to me by a community member that we allow our police officers and our CHRs to carry it because our police officers are called on those and CHRs, they come into those situations. So I hope that's brought up, and I apologize for not, I was sick again on Monday, so I wasn't able to go to health.
Yeah.
I apologize, but I'll be there.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, let me see. A motion by Council Representative Sharon Lee. I wonder if this is in-house. Manny Ironhawk came to us and he had a bill that Indian Health is refusing to pay. And it was for his daughter. And anyway, he had taken his daughter to school down in Berkeley, California. And he contracted COVID during that time. He called the Indian Health Service, let them know he was going to the hospital. And they approved it, but then when the bill started coming in, they refused to pay it. So there was a motion by Council Representative Sharon Lee, seconded by Council Representative Ron Russo to direct Indian Health Service to pay Manny Ironhawk's bill and to give the letter to Ramona Tribal Health CEO. That will be my motion.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion by Mrs. Hall, second by Mr. Russo. Comments or questions, council members? Mrs. Whitefeather?
Thank you. It's not only Mr. Ironhawk. I think there's a lot of people out there that get the bill, they've turned it into contract health, and they still don't get paid. So now they're being sent to the debt collection agency. So it's not only him, it's all these people that get referred out that they're probably not, they get the bill, like from the radiology or Monument Health or wherever, but they don't know what to do with it. So to me, something has to happen with IHS. IHS is the one that transfers people out. They're the ones who are on that for, what do you call that, insurance. Who's your insurance? Employees, we have our insurance. Second one is Indian Health Service. And those that don't have insurance, IHS is their insurance. And they should be able to send, when they send you out, send us the bill. When you get referred out, send the bill to IHS. But they get sent to the individuals, and a lot of them probably get it, but don't know what to do with it. So then they're sent to the debt collection agency. And it takes months and months and months, and by then, you have bad credit.
Yeah.
I'm still getting bills from my mom when she passed away in July, and I'm still getting bills. Now it's sent to debt collection. So something has to happen with IHS where the insurance goes to them. Then they can decide to bill your private insurance, bill Medicaid or bill Medicare, but they should be able to pay it first. Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, we get a spent, and there's plenty of money in that PRC, Purchase Referred Care. And Mr. Keckler, Mr. Justin Keckler has told us that they take care of everybody. You know, like we have categories, but category 1, 2, 3, and 4. And he said our facility is sending out everybody in categories 1 through 4. And so I agree, you know, maybe we need to amend this motion to include that any referrals that they make, that they pay for the bills.
Yep, I believe it's against the law to bill individual Indians for those when they get referred out, and that should never even go to them. It should always go to the vendor or the IHS. We have a motion and a second. Madam Secretary, please call for the vote.
Bryce Underwoods, absent Steve Moran.
Yes.
Ted Knife Jr., absent John Kessler.
Yes.
Kenrick DePreez. Sharon Lee.
Yes.
Mary Miller.
Yes.
Kelsey Haskell. Yes. Thad Rose.
Yes.
Derek Bartlett.
Yes.
Francine Hall. Yes. Joe Brinkspany. Bob Walters. Ronald Russo. Tuffy Thompson. Yes.
13 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain, 2 absent, motion carries. Mrs. Hall?
Yes.
Motion by Council Representative Mary Miller Michael, seconded by Council Representative Sharon Lee to approve the assessments for executive resolution. I think that was handled already by executive. The next one is in-house. Motion by Council Representative Mary Miller Whitewell, seconded by Council Representative Sharon Lee to approve Lisa Schlosser as third-party audit consultant. And all of the supporting documents are attached to the minutes. And there's a resolution, and I'll read that resolution into the record.
last page. Last, white. Just the resolution.
Sorry, my mic wasn't on. Okay, I'll read the fourth whereas. Whereas the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe recognizes the Tribal Health Department's need to address the need for auditing of third-party monies through coding, billing, accounts receivable, and education. For by assigning the Tribal Health third-party auditor an experienced biller and remittance reconciler with the RPMS system and IHS and the South Dakota Medicaid processes. And whereas the Tribal Health Department has prioritized recruiting and retaining health professionals, food sovereignty initiatives, infrastructure and systems development, and a treatment facility. The Tribal Health Department recognizes the need for additional auditing and training assistance to keep reports current and accurate without missed revenue on a consistent basis with regular monthly updates. And whereas the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe supports the contract agreement with CRST tribal member Lisa Slosher to work directly with the Tribal Health Business Office as directed by Tribal Health. And therefore be it resolved, we, the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe, do hereby approve of the agreement for auditing services, and be it finally resolved, the disclaimer.
Motion to approve.
We got a motion to approve by Ms. Haskell, second by Mr. Rose. Comments or questions? Okay, Madam Secretary, please call for the vote. Yep, go ahead.
Thank you. On the compensation and the agreement, it says 6 to 8 hours a month and then not to exceed 18,000. Is the 18,000 the entire contract or 18,000 per month?
Mr. Chairman, can I respond?
Yes, what?
I believe it's the entire contract, Mr. Keckler, but I can get that figure. If you want an answer right now, I can get you that answer.
Probably should state that where it says 18,000, parentheses, entire contract or something like that. Thank you.
Any other comments, council members? Madam Secretary, please call for the vote.
If you look at the compensation number 3, it's under the agreement for third-party billing. As compensation for the delivery of services detailed here in the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe Health Department agrees to pay the auditor $150 per hour. Hours will be 6 to 8 hours per month, not to exceed $18,000. The health department shall pay the compensation and expenses due under this contract upon presentation of a statement of services rendered by the auditor. So to me, it's a month.
No, 150, only 6 to 8 hours a month.
6 to 8 hours per month, not to exceed 18.
No.
Okay, is that what she said? Okay, in total, right, thank you.
Okay, good.
Okay, Madam Secretary, go ahead. Call for the vote.
It's a good thing, we need it.
Bryce Underwood's absent. Steve Moran.
Yes.
Ken Ive Jr. absent. John Kessler.
Yes.
Kenrick DePreez. Sharon Lee.
Yes.
Mary Miller. Kelsey Haskell.
Yes.
Thad Rose.
Yes.
Derek Bartlett.
Yes.
Francine Hall.
Yes.
Joe Brinksplenny. Bob Walters. Ronald Russo. Tuffy Thompson. Yes. Ronald Russo.
Ah.
Thank you.
13 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain, 2 absent, motion carries. Mrs. Hall?
The next motion is in-house regarding Oak Tree Software. Motion by Council Representative Mary Miller Whitewell, seconded by Council Representative Sharon Lee to approve for a vascular center with multi-purpose building instead of an MRI based on recommendation of the Tribal Health CEO. Along with that, we discussed on Monday that this multi-purpose building is, it will have within it a dialysis center. So I know I think a couple of weeks ago in Tribal Council, they brought up we had Bernita in the Woods bring up the issue about a dialysis and that they're being sent, our patients are being sent out. And so in this multi-purpose building, there will be a room for a dialysis center. So, but our main, in order for us to get the funding for the demonstration project, we kind of focused on a vascular center, which would be wound treatment, because a lot of the diabetics are, they need someplace for wound care, and we would be the first in the Great Plains. I guess we need Tribal Council support for that one. So I'll make that motion.
Okay, we got a motion by Mrs. Hall. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Rose. Comments or questions? Madam Secretary, please call for the vote.
Bryce Cinderwoods, absent Steve Moran.
Yes.
Ken Ive Jr., absent John Kessler.
Yes.
Kenrick DePreez, Sharon Lee,
Yes.
Mary Miller.
Is this the Oak Tree Software? It's the vascular center? Okay, yes.
Kelsey Haskell.
Yes.
Brad Rose.
Yes.
Derek Bartlett.
Yes.
Francine Hall. Joe Brinkspany. Bob Walters. Ronald Russo. Tuffy Thompson.
Thirteen yes, 0 no, 0 abstain, 2 absent, motion carries. Mrs. Hall?
We recess the meeting until November 6th at 9:30. I don't have those minutes. November. Except, I don't have those minutes, so. Oh, did you want something?
Mr. Kessler?
Thank you, Chairman. I wanted to comment a little bit on the concerns that was relayed earlier about fentanyl and possibilities or reality that it's entering our homelands. All these things are good for as far as Narcan and being prepared, but I really think we all know where the drugs are coming from. That's that southern border down there, and I would like to see the tribe take a stance to shoot a resolution off to federal government and request that they step up and do something about it, because if they're stopping it there, then we won't have to deal with it as much here. Or we can continue to look the other way and we can get ready to see what havoc it wreaks on our nation. So I think it's warranted that we get some kind of resolution together and get that off to Mr. Biden. I know you had met with him. I and I don't know if that was part of your discussion. I was hoping it would be. If it wasn't, we should sure make it that. That's just some comments I have. I don't know if you need a motion or if you would accept a motion, but I would bring one later.
Yeah, you can take your motion whenever you have that one. Just let us know.
Sure.
Mrs. Hall, I see another set of minutes here from Health Committee. Do you want to present those September 14th, or did you already do these ones?
Chairman LeBeau, I'll go ahead and present those. That was the last meeting I chaired, and then I had Mrs. Hall take over because I had to leave before the meeting was over. The Health Committee met on September 14th, 2023. Members present, Francine Hall, Chair, Kelsey Haskell, Vice Chair, she's excused, Ted Knife Jr., Thad Rose, Ronald Russo, excused, Mary Miller Whitepool, Bob Walters, John Kessler, Bryce In the Woods, Joseph Brinks Plenty, Sharon Lee, and Steve Moran present. Also Ramona Simon, Tribal Health CEO, Missouri Briggs, Bert Jellaba, Native Biodata, Justin Keckler, IHS, Acting CEO, the CRST Diabetes Program and Public. Meeting called to order at 9:45. There was a motion by Representative Rose. Okay, that was just to approve the agenda. There was a motion by Representative Rose to nominate Representative Hall, second by Representative Moran, and that did pass. 4-4, 1 not voting, 1 absent, motion carried. Motion by Representative Kessler. Okay, I guess that's part of that other motion. Okay, motion by Representative Hall to refer this matter to the CRST Attorney General Kimberly Craven to assist Dan Dupree with a tort claim. Second by Representative In the Woods. And this was a tort claim that Mr. Dupree was filing against the IHS. So that, that's my motion. Motion to refer to the Attorney General to assist him with his tort claim.
We got a motion to refer to the Attorney General by Ms. Lee. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Walters. All in favor, raise your hand. 12 yes, opposed, 1 not voting, motion carries.
And IHS, September 14th.
Mrs. Lee,
Yes.
on page 4, I guess that's according to Madam Secretary, that's where we left off. I guess we
Covered
lost
it
quorum.
this far. Oh, well, we lost quorum then?
Yeah.
Okay, I guess we did lose the quorum on page 4, so please turn to page 4. I'll start with the first motion on page 4. Motion by Representative Miller Whitebull to refer the CRST Youth Commercial Tobacco Prevention Policy to legal for review and then be brought back to Health Committee after review. Seconded by Representative Brinks Plenty. That's my motion.
Okay, we got a motion by Mrs. Lee, second by Mr. Brinks-Plenty. Yes.
Oh, yes, it's Ms. Egan, so that'll be considered in-house, excuse me.
Okay.
Okay, I'll go to the next motion. Motion by Representative Kessler to approve by resolution the bilingualism study, second by Representative Brinks Plenty. It was 8-4, 1 not voting, 1 absent, motion carried. Okay, approved by resolution. Sure, this. I'll read the resolution if it's on here. pages are stuck together, excuse me.
You're gonna read the resolution?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm looking for the resolution. It's, okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Further back in the packet, there's the resolution. I'll skip the first two whereases. Whereas the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe is committed to improving the health and welfare of its people by providing the highest level of health care possible, and whereas Article 4, Section 1M of the Constitution of the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe requires the tribe to protect the public health and morals and to promote the public welfare of the people, and whereas existing literature suggests that bilingualism may improve overall cognition but might reduce cognitive test performance. However, years of education is a commonly used metric for crystallized function in interpreting cognitive assessments, but this has been shown to be a poor marker of function in American Indian populations. And whereas bilingualism as a protective factor of ADRD and American Indian adults, the Strong Heart Study Stage 1 is seeking to understand the impact of language use and bilingual fluency on memory and cognition, and how different types of bilingualism fluency may affect various components of cognition, such as working memory, executive functions, and processing speeds. And whereas the bilingualism stage 1 study will help to gain insights that will help us understand how different types of bilingual language use may impact brain aging and cognitive measurement in American Indians, as well as aid in the cultural adaptation and measurements of the language history questionnaire for American Indian adults. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Tribal Council of the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribal Council hereby approves of the Health Committee's recommendation to approve and support the bilingualism stage 1 research study provided by Missouri Breaks Industries Research Incorporated and Washington State University, and the disclaimer. My motion to approve.
We got a motion approved by Ms. Lee. Is there a second? Second by Mrs. Hall. Comments, questions? Madam Secretary, please call for the vote.
Bryce Underwoods, absent Steve Moran.
Yes.
Ken Knight Jr., absent John Kessler.
Yes.
Kenrick DePreez, Sharon Lee. St. Hall, Joe Brinksplenny, Bob Walters, Ronald Russo, Tuffy Thompson. Thank you.
13 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain, 2 absent. Motion carries. Mrs. Lee.
Thank you, Chairman LeBeau. The HEAL Initiative, Missouri Breaks requested a letter of support to move forward with their application for the OTA HEAL Initiative. Motion by Representative Miller-Whitebowl to approve the letter of support for the HEAL Initiative, seconded by Representative Kessler, and that's my motion to approve.
We got a motion by Ms. Lee. Is there a second? Second by Mrs. Miller. Comments or questions, council members? Madam Secretary, please call for the vote.
Bryce Underwoods, absent Steve Moran.
Yes.
Ken Knight Jr., absent John Kessler.
Yes.
Kenrick DePreez, Sharon Lee.
Yes.
Mary Miller, Kelsey Haskell.
Yes.
Thad Rose.
Yes.
Derek Bartlett.
Yes.
Francine Hall. Joe Brinksplenny, Bob Walters, Ronald Russo, Tuffy Thompson. Thank you.
Thirteen yes, 0 no, 0 abstain, 2 absent. Motion carries. Mrs. Lee.
Thank you, Chairman LeBeau. Research is ceremony. Missouri Breaks presented to the committee the Research is Ceremony Study. This is a sub-study of the CatNap project. It will get a better understanding of why people participate in clinical trials and why they don't. Mrs. O'Leary stated for the record that they are proposing a name change and read the resolution into the record. Motion by Representative Miller-Whitebowl to approve by resolution the Research and Ceremony Study, seconded by Representative Hall. 8-4, 1 not voting, 1 absent, motion carried. And I'll read the resolution into the record. Thank you. I'll skip the first two whereases. Whereas the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe is committed to improving the health and welfare of its people by providing the highest level of health care possible. And whereas Article 4, Section 1M of the Constitution of the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe requires the tribe to protect the public welfare and morals and to promote the public welfare of the people. And whereas American Indians experience disproportionate cardiovascular disease, morbidity, and mortality, higher burdens of hypertension, type 2 diabetes, smoking, and other risk factors. However, American Indians are continually underrepresented in clinical research, and there is limited awareness about clinical trials, and attitudinal barriers are key personal factors that impede clinical trial participation. And whereas as a sub-study of the cognition after obstructive sleep apnea, OSA, treatment among Native American people, CatNap Project, Research is Ceremony, RIC, is seeking to understand experiences and challenges of participation of American Indians in clinical research trials. And whereas multiple forms of media, such as video and print material, have shown promise as an effective strategy to address strongly held attitudes toward clinical trials and assist with participant retention in clinical trials. And whereas the RIC study will help study participants by using their feedback and survey data to develop a culturally tailored intervention that will target the specific questions and needs of American Indians participating in clinical trials and support them during the specific CatNap clinical trial. Now therefore be it resolved, the Tribal Council of the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe hereby approves the Health Committee's recommendation to approve and support the RIC research study provided by Missouri Brakes Industries Research Incorporated and Washington State University, and a disclaimer. My motion is to approve.
We got a motion by Mrs. Lee, second by Mrs. Whitebull. Comments or questions on the resolution? Madam Secretary, please call for the vote.
Bryce Cinderwoods, absent Steve Marin.
Yes.
Ken Knife Jr., absent John Kessler.
Yes.
Kenrick DePreez, Sharon Lee,
Yes.
Mary Miller. Kelsey Haskell.
Yes.
Thad Rose.
Yes.
Derek Bartlett.
Yes.
Francine Hall. Joe Brinksplenny. Bob Walters. Ronald Russo. Tuffy Thompson.
13 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain, 2 absent, motion carries. Ms. Lee?
Thank you, Chairman LeBeau. Motion by Representative Hall to have Mrs. O'Leary and Mrs. Simon set up a meeting with Tribal Council or Health Committee and include native biodata to discuss this issue on who the information data belongs to, seconded by Representative Miller Whitebull. And I believe this was the Health Committee, had come to the Health Committee in October of 2021. And we're waiting for a meeting to be set up. I don't believe that they did have that meeting. But that is my motion, as stated.
Okay, we got a motion by Ms. Lee. Is there a second? Second by Mrs. Miller Whitebull. Comments or questions? We'll call for the vote. Madam Secretary?
Bryce Cinderwoods, absent Steve Moran.
Yes.
Ken Knife Jr., absent John Kessler.
Yes.
Kenrick DePreez. Sharon Lee.
Yes.
Mary Miller. Kelsey Haskell.
No.
Thad Rose.
Yes.
Derek Bartlett.
Yes.
Francine Hall.
Yes.
Joe Brinksplenny. Bob Walters. Ronald Russo. Tuffy Thompson. Thank you.
Yes, 1 no, 0 abstain, 2 absent, motion carries. Mrs. Lee?
Thank you, Chairman LeBeau. AHR electronic health record issues. Mrs. Simon informed the committee that IHS has restricted tribal health access to the AHR system. She stated that they are working on going with an alternative system for tribal health to utilize for patient records. Motion by Representative In the Woods to go into, went into executive session. Then we came out of executive session. Motion by Representative Rose to approve the revised behavioral health director job description with amendment of adding in must have or be willing to obtain state qualified mental health professional certificate and advertise, second by Representative Brings Plenty. I guess we don't, I'm not sure if we have that, job description in our packet. Yeah, I'll refer this to administration since you, oversee the job descriptions now.
I got a motion by Ms. Lee, second by Ms. Whitebo. Mr. Brinks, plenty, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That was already added in for that advertisement, after this session was done for that position. But that was the only, wording that was taken out, and it was just added back in, so just FYI.
Mr. Brings Plenty, when was that wording taken out of the job description?
They took it out before, and, when we looked through it, they showed it to us, and we just asked for it to be put back in. So I'm not sure
Okay.
when they took it out, but
I'll refer it to administration. I guess I'd like to see the job description where it was taken out, where it was added in. Okay, referral to admin, that's my motion.
Okay, we got a motion to refer to administration, second by Ms. Whitebo. All in favor, raise your hand. Got 12 yes, 0 no, motion carries. Mrs. Lee?
Thank you, Chairman LeBeau. Motion by Representative In the Woods to have IHS and Tribal Health start collecting data on our tribal members who are catching the virus 2 or 3 times, and that we take precautionary measures to protect our members. Second by Representative Kessler, and that's my motion.
We got a motion by Ms. Lee. Is there a second? Second by Mrs. Whitebo. Comments or questions? Madam Secretary, please call for the vote.
Bryce Underwoods, absent. Steve Moran.
Yes.
Ken Knife Jr., absent. John Kessler.
Yes.
Kenrick DePreez. Sharon Lee.
Yes.
Mary Miller. Kelsey Haskell.
Yes.
Thad Rose.
Yes.
Derek Bartlett.
Yes.
Francine Hall. Joe Brinksplenny. Bob Walters. Ronald Russo. Tuffy Thompson.
13 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain, 2 absent, motion carries. Ms. Lee?
Thank you, Chairman LeBeau. The next motion regarding Lisa Slosher's third-party billing contract was already approved, and with the October minutes were done, 2023 minutes were done before these. And it was approved in there already. And that was it. Then there was a motion to adjourn. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the House report. Council, let's take 5-minute break. Human Services Committee report.
Mr. Chairman, we don't have the November minutes for health. Our secretary said their office ran out of toner. Their printer is down. I did ask her to email them to us, but they haven't been received yet. But there is one issue that we need to take care of in health, and that's a contract with Tylus Psychological Services. And I submitted for the record the contract review from the contracting office. Everything's been checked off. The contract for professional services, the legal review by the tribal health attorney, Margaret Egan. And the reason that they're doing sole source with this company, because and I'll just read her memorandum, because this company is a prescribing psychologist. In the field of behavioral health prescribing authority, the ability to write a prescription was traditionally limited to psychiatrists, who are medical doctors who specialize in diagnosing and treating mental health conditions. Psychologists, including clinical psychologists with a master's or doctoral degree, are not able to prescribe medications. In the 1990s, a movement to allow clinical psychologists to prescribe medications began in federal health systems. Proponents argue that psychologists should be allowed to complete an additional 2-year degree in psychopharmacology, the study of using medication to treat mental health conditions, because of growing mental health needs and a shortage of psychiatrists and other doctors, particularly in rural areas. The Department of Defense spearheaded this effort, in part because of pushback from doctors. Civilian acceptance has been slow. Currently, only 6 states license prescribing psychologists, and training programs are similarly limited. The American Psychological Association only formally recognized prescribing psychology as a specialty in 2020. Along with the DoD, the Indian Health Service was an early proponent and recruited prescribing psychologists whenever possible. There are currently around 30 prescribing psychologists in federal health systems. But because of this history and limited licensure, prescribing psychologists are hard to find. In the United States, they are one of the rarest specialties in medicine. There are approximately 180,000 clinical psychologists in the U.S. and approximately 26,000 psychiatrists. However, there are only around 200 licensed prescribing psychologists. Tylus Psychological Services, PLLC, and that's the one that we would like to do a contract with. Michael Tylus, Doctor of Psychology, is a clinical psychologist who has practiced since 2002 and is licensed in Montana, Idaho, and South Dakota. Dr. Tylus is the sole member and owner of Tylus Psychological Services, PLLC, a professional limited liability company registered in the state of Montana. In 2020, Dr. Tylus was licensed to practice as a prescribing psychologist in Idaho, one of the 6 licensing states. The health department would like Dr. Tylus to provide telehealth services on a part-time basis, both to see behavioral health program patients and also to consult and prescribe in support of other providers. All of Dr. Tylus's current licenses have no history of disciplinary action. Dr. Tylus recently relocated from Montana to Rapid City and is able to conduct quarterly on-site visits as detailed in the attached contract. Because prescribing psychologists are truly rare, this service is non-competitive at this time. It is highly unlikely that bidding out this service would produce any better result and would only unreasonably delay the process of obtaining psychopharmacology services for the behavioral health program, which currently cannot meet the behavioral health needs of our population. Therefore, the attached contract with Dr. Michael Tylis meets the CRST procurement and property management requirements for a sole source contract. Under the attached contract, Dr. Tylis will provide 16 clinical hours of services per week to the Tribal Health Department. These services will be provided via telehealth except for on-site visits as detailed in paragraph 1.1. The Health Department has adequate funds to fulfill this contract. Margaret Egan, contract attorney, says, I have revised and reviewed the attached contract, which complies with CRST law and policy and furthers the mission of the Health Department to provide quality care to tribal members. I recommend approval of the attached resolution approving this contract for prescribing psychologist services between Dr. Michael Tylis and the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe. Thank you for this opportunity to serve the tribe. And I'd like to read the resolution into the record. I will start on Adherence of the federal Indian self-determination policy, Congress has authorized Indian tribes to contract to perform health services that the Indian Health Service otherwise will perform under treaty and statute under Public Law 93-638. And the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe has contracted under that law to perform health services. And whereas the Health Department wishes to provide clinical prescribing psychology services to behavioral health patients and in support of other providers within the Tribal Health Department, and whereas prescribing psychology is a specialty practice wherein a clinical psychologist completes additional training and obtains authority to write prescriptions and is a rare specialty within the field of psychology, as only 6 states currently train and license prescribing psychologists. And whereas Tylis Psychological Services, PLLC, is a Montana professional limited liability company whose sole member and owner is Michael Tylis, Doctor of Psychology, a clinical psychologist who holds a license to practice prescribing psychology from the state of Idaho and who has experience as a prescribing psychologist in the Indian Health Service. And whereas Tylis Psychological Services, PLLC, recently relocated to Rapid City, South Dakota, and wishes to provide services via telehealth with quarterly on-site visits for 16 clinical hours per week to the Tribal Health Department. And whereas, because of the limited numbers of prescribing psychologists, and because the Behavioral Health Department is currently unable to meet the urgent mental health needs of our population, the Health Committee finds that bidding out the attached contract with Tylis Psychological Services, PLLC, would result in unreasonable delay and requests that the attached contract be approved as a sole source contract. Now therefore be it resolved that the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribal Council authorizes and directs the tribal chairman to execute the attached contract for professional services with Tylis Psychological Services, PLLC, to provide prescribing psychologist services to the CRST Health Department and approve said contract as a sole source contract under the CRST Procurement and Property Management System Manual, and determines that the total value of this one-year contract shall not exceed $215,000.
Motion to approve Dr. Tillis's contract?
Motion to approve. What was your question?
Motion to approve Dr. Tillis's
Oh,
contract.
sorry, second.
Okay, we got a motion by Ms. Haskell to approve, second by Mrs. Lee. Comments or questions? Madam Secretary, please call for the vote.
Yes.
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 Absent Francine Hall? Yes. Joe Bernstein? Bob Walter? Ronald Russo? Kathy Thompson? Yes. Mary? Yes. Thank you.
Twelve yes, 0 no, 0 abstain, 3 absent. Motion carries. Is that it for House Committee report?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, the Health Committee minutes for November 20th just came through, but I haven't had a chance to review them. So can we hold off and do them in the January session of council? The things that I read off, the resolution, that was the important thing, important contracts we had to get done. So, thank you.
Thank you for the report. Council, I believe the next is the Human Services Committee. Mr. Bartlett's not here right now. Perhaps we should take up this resolution that Mr. Kessler referenced earlier. I believe we all have copies right here regarding amendment to the tax code.
Is that, Chairman LeBeau, I can address it.
Okay, good.
This was addressed in the EDC meeting, and I believe it's been in the tax committee also.
Okay.
And Mr. Gunn was assigned to this. And I don't see a legal review, but I believe he did one. So I'll go ahead, I'll make my motion to approve pending legal after I read the resolution. And we'll get that from Mr. Gunn.
Okay.
I'll skip the first two whereases. Whereas pursuant to the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribal Constitution and bylaws, the Tribal Council is vested with the authority to promote the interests of the tribe, including the peace, safety, property, health, and general welfare of the tribe's members. And whereas the Tribal Council has authority pursuant to Article 4, Section 1I of the Tribal Constitution to raise revenue through taxation subject to the review of the Secretary of the Interior. And whereas the Tribal Council has authority pursuant to Article 4, subsection 1I of the Tribal Constitution to regulate commerce. And whereas federal law recognizes that the tribe has the inherent authority to regulate through taxation, licensing, or other means the activities of non-members who enter consensual relationships with the tribe or its members through commercial dealing, contracts, leases, or other arrangements, or whose activities threaten or have a direct effect on the political integrity, economic security, or health or welfare of the tribe. Montana versus United States, 450 U.S. 544, 1981. And whereas the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe adopted a comprehensive tax code through resolution number 199-2010-CR, August 4th, 2010, which was ratified with amendments by resolution number 248-02010-CR, September 7th, 2010, and which has been amended from time to time thereafter. And whereas, excuse me, the tax code sets forth numerous tribal taxes, including the tribal retail sales, services, and use tax, contractors' excise tax, and alternative contractors' excise tax, cigarette and tobacco taxes, motor vehicle fuel tax, amusement device tax, seasonal tourism tax, excise tax on farm machinery, attachment units and irrigation equipment, and contractors' tax on new or expanded power production facilities. And whereas through this resolution, the Tribal Council amends the tax code to add Part 2, Chapter 10 to impose a new tribal tax designated as the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe Special Contractors Tax, which tax shall be collected by the Revenue Department of the tribe pursuant to Part 4 of the tax code. Now therefore be it resolved that the Tribal Council hereby amends Part 2 of the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe Tax Code to add Chapter 10 to establish the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe Special Contractors Tax as set forth below. And then there's the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe Tax Code, Part 2, Tribal Taxes, Chapter 10, Special Contractors Tax, and in the definitions. Several pages of that.
You want to read those into the record? Those pages as well?
All of the pages? It's about. Okay, every one, okay. Okay. I thought I could just skim through the, Section 2-10-1 definitions. The following words, terms, and phrases, when used in this chapter, have the meanings ascribed to them as set out below. 1, contractor, when used without qualifications, shall include both prime contractors and subcontractors. Generally, a contractor is one who, in the pursuit of any independent business, undertakes to do a specific project for another person at a price using his or her own means and methods, without submitting himself or herself to the other person's control and respect to the details of the project, only in respect to the end product or final result of the project. 2, gross receipts shall mean the amount received directly or indirectly in money, credit, property, or other monies worth in consideration of the performance of realty improvement contracts on the reservation, without any deduction on account of the cost of the property sold, the cost of material used, the cost of services or labor purchased, amounts paid for interest or discounts, or any other expenses whatsoever, nor any deduction allowed for losses. For purposes of measuring the tax imposed by this chapter, gross receipts include the greater of the cost or fair market value of materials used by a contractor or subcontractor in the performance of a contract, regardless of whether the contractor or subcontractor owns or furnishes the materials, and gross receipts include those materials furnished to the prime contractor or subcontractor by the owner or the lessee of the realty improvement. 3, prime contractor means any person engaged in realty improvement contracts or contracts for construction services, including without limitation those contracts enumerated in Division C of the Standard Industrial Classification Manual of 1987 as prepared by the Statistical Policy Division of the Office of Management and Budget, Office of the President of the United States. Also included are persons conducting any other construction, building, installation, or repair of a fixture to realty. Operative builders, industry number 1531 as enumerated in the Standard Industrial Classification Manual 1987 as prepared by the Statistical Policy Division of the Office of Management and Budget. Office of the President are prime contractors, regardless of whether they perform construction work themselves or contract with other contractors. A person who is not primarily in the business of making realty improvements and regularly employs persons for the purpose of repairing, maintaining, or making realty improvements for his own use, and who repairs, maintains, or makes a realty improvement for his own use with his regular employees, is not a prime contractor and is not liable for the tax herein. 4, realty improvement shall mean the repair or remodeling of existing realty or the construction of a completely new project, such as construction of roads, bridges, buildings, towers, items affixed to real property, or any work specifically mentioned in Division C of the Standard Industrial Classification SIC Manual of 1987 as prepared by the Statistical Policy Division of the Office of Management and Budget, OMB, Office of the President. 5, subcontractor shall mean a person contracting with a prime contractor to perform all or part of a realty improvement. The prime contractor has contracted to perform for highway construction projects. A subcontractor includes any person contracting with a prime contractor to perform any of the following services as part of the project: traffic control, striping, flagging, operation of pilot cars, signing, landscaping, seeding, sodding, mulching, and erosion control. Section 2-10-2, applicability of chapter. 1, this chapter and the licensing and taxation provisions of this chapter shall apply to all contractors that engage in the construction, building, installation, or repair of a fixture to realty, including but not limited to A, those enumerated in the Standard Industrial Classification Manual of 1987 as prepared by the Statistical Policy Division of the Office of Management and Budget, Office of the President, Construction, Division C, and B, those contractors performing realty improvement contracts subject to the contractor's excise tax or alternative contractor's excise tax under Chapter 2 of Part 2 of this code. 2, the following services enumerated in the Standard Industrial Classification Manual of 1987 as prepared by the Statistical Policy Division of the Office of Management and Budget, Office of the President, are exempt from the provisions of this chapter. A, floor laying and other floor work not elsewhere classified, industry number 1752, and B, repair shops and related services not elsewhere classified, industry number 7699, but only locksmiths and locksmith shops. Section 2-10-3, special contractor's license. Any contractor who performs work under a realty improvement contract within the reservation, including but not limited, a contractor who is required to obtain a contractor's license under Section 2-2-5 of this code shall file a copy of such contractor's license issued under Section 2-2-5 of this code with the Revenue Department and shall file with the Revenue Department an application for a special contractor's license. 2, every special contractor's license application shall be made upon a form prescribed by the Revenue Director and shall set forth the name under which the applicant intends to transact business, the location of his or her place of business, and such other information as may be required by the Revenue Department. This application shall be signed by the owner, if a natural person, in the case of an association or partnership, by a member or partner thereof, or in the case of a corporation, by an executive officer thereof, or some person specifically authorized by the corporation to sign the application, to which shall be attached the written evidence of his or her authority. 3, the Revenue Director shall grant and issue to each eligible applicant a special contractor's license and a special contractor's license number. A license is not assignable and shall be valid only for the person in whose name it is issued. Any license issued is valid and effective until canceled or revoked. 4, no contractor may commence work on the reservation without first obtaining a special contractor's license pursuant to this section. 5, a contractor shall post his or her special contractor's license number at the site of the designated realty improvement project. 6, the Director of Revenue may refuse to issue a license to any person who is delinquent in payment of any special contractor's tax or any other tax imposed by this code. The Director may also require an applicant to furnish bond as security for payment of any contractor's excise or use tax or any other tax imposed by this code that may become due or require a bond or security for the payment of any such tax as a condition precedent to it continuing in business as a contractor. 7, any person aggrieved by the denial of a permit may, within 30 days after service of the notice of a denial by the Revenue Director, demand and is entitled to a hearing upon notice before the Revenue Director. The hearing shall be conducted pursuant to the Chapter 13 of Part 4 of this code and shall be subject to further administrative and judicial review pursuant to Chapters 14 and 15 in Part 4 of this code. Section 2-10-4, engaging in business without license prohibited. 1, it shall be unlawful for any person to perform work under a realty improvement contract or engage in any activity subject to taxation under this chapter without a special contractor's license. 2, any person who fails to make application for a special contractor's license or who performs work under a realty improvement contract or engages in any activity subject to taxation under this chapter without a special contractor's license will be subject to civil penalty not to exceed $250, and his or her business may be closed upon application until application is made with and approved by the Revenue Department. 3, this civil penalty shall be in addition to all other fines, penalties, and enforcement actions provided in this code, including suspension of business privileges as provided in Chapter 11 of Part 4 of this code. 4, imposition of the penalty provided for this in this section is considered an adverse action for purposes of Part 4 of this code. Section 2-10-5, special contractors tax. 1, there is hereby imposed a special contractors tax of 1% upon the gross receipts of all prime contractors engaged in realty improvement projects within the reservation. 2, the tax imposed by this section applies to the total contract price, including all labor and materials. Materials include those purchased by the contractor and those purchased by the person who let the contract or his or her designee. 3, the tax imposed shall be reported and paid pursuant to section 2-10-7 of this code upon the receipts received under the contract during the period. 4, the tax imposed by this chapter shall be in addition to all other taxes imposed by this code, including but not limited to the taxes imposed by chapter 2 of part 2 of this code. 5, taxes paid on gross receipts represented by accounts found to be worthless and actually charged off for income tax purposes may be credited upon a subsequent payment of the tax. If such accounts are thereby collected by the contractor, the tax shall be paid upon the amount so collected. Section 2-10-6, subcontractors certificates. 1, a prime contractor should issue a certificate to a subcontractor showing the prime contractor's valid special contractor's license number. The form shall be prescribed by the revenue director. 2, any subcontractor who fails to retain a certificate and a record of project designations is considered a prime contractor and is subject to tax under this chapter. 3, any person not a prime contractor who provides a certificate is liable for tax equal to the amount of tax the person accepting the certificate would have been liable for if the certificate had not been issued. The tax is due at the time the person accepting the certificate would have been required to pay the tax. In addition to any tax or interest due, persons who are not prime contractors providing certificates are liable for a penalty of 10% of the tax. 4, the United States, the state of South Dakota, the tribe, or any other state or public or municipal corporation on the reservation may not issue a certificate. Section 2-10-7, filing of return and payment of taxes. 1, any person who holds a special contractor's license issued pursuant to this chapter or who is a person whose receipts are subject to the tax imposed by this chapter shall file a return and pay any tax due to the Revenue Department on or before the 20th day of the month following each monthly period. The return shall be filed on forms prescribed and furnished by the Revenue Department. 2, the Revenue Director may grant an extension of not more than 30 days for filing a return and remittance. 3, unless an extension is granted, penalties and interest shall be imposed and paid if a return or remittance is not made on time. Section 2-10-8, revocation of license for failure to file return or pay tax. 1, every person who is the holder of a permit issued pursuant to section 2-10-3 of this code and who has failed to file a return or who has filed a return and has failed to pay the tax due shall have his or her contractor's license revoked and canceled by the tax. 2, revocation and cancellation of a permit shall be in addition to all other enforcement actions provided in this code, this including suspension of business privileges as provided in Chapter 11 of Part 4 of this code. 3, revocation and cancellation of a permit under this section is considered an adverse action for purposes of Part 4 of this code. Section 2-10-9, realty improvement without contract subject to tax if sold within 4 years. If any person, except for a person making an isolated or occasional realty improvement and who does not hold himself out as engaging in the business of making realty improvements, makes a realty improvement without a realty improvement contract and subsequently sells the property containing the realty improvement to the realty improvement at any time subsequent to the commencement of the project and within 4 years of its completion, the gross receipts from the sale of the realty improvement shall be subject to the special contractor's tax imposed on the gross receipts of contractors engaged in realty improvement contracts. And determine the gross receipts from the sale of such realty improvements when land or land in Improvements completed 4 years prior to sale are included in the sale. Land in such improvements shall be valued at cost or fair market value, whichever is greater, in the portion of the gross receipts attributable to land or land in improvements completed 4 years prior to sale shall be deducted from the sale price. Section 2-10-10, tax imposed on improvements built for lease. There is imposed a tax at the rate provided in section 2-10-5 of this code on the fair market value of the improvement upon any person who builds a building for lease to himself or others with a value of over $100,000. If the realty improvement becomes subject to tax under section 2-10-9 of this code, credit for tax due under that section is given for any payment paid under this section. The tax imposed by this section is due the next reporting date after the improvement and is used or leased. The tax imposed by this section does not apply to the United States, the tribe, the state of South Dakota, and its subdivisions, or public or municipal corporation on the reservation. This section applies only to buildings subsequently completed after April 30th, 1984. Section 2-10-11, person liability of officers, managers, or partners. I think that's personal, not person. 1, if a corporation, limited liability company, limited partnership, limited liability partnership, or limited partnership subject to tax under this chapter fails for any reason to file the required returns or to pay the tax due, any of the corporate officers, managers, or managers of limited liability companies or partners of partnerships that control, supervise, or are charged with the responsibility of filing the returns or remitting tax payments shall be personally liable for the failure. The dissolution of a corporation, limited liability company, limited partnership does not discharge an officer, member, manager, or partner's liability for a prior failure of the corporation, limited liability company, limited partnership, or limited partnership to file a return or remit the tax due. The sum tax for such a liability may be assessed and collected as provided by law. 2, if the corporate officers, limited liability company, member, managers, or partners elect not to be personally liable for the failure to file the required returns or to pay the tax due, the corporation, limited liability company, limited partnership, limited liability partnership, or limited liability, limited partnership shall provide the Revenue Department with a surety bond or certificate of deposit as security for payment of any tax that may become due. The bond or certificate of deposit provided for in this section shall be an amount equal to the estimated annual gross receipts multiplied by the applicable tax rate. Section 2-10-12, dedication of tax revenue. All tax revenue collected pursuant to the chapter shall be dedicated first to the cost of enforcement and administration of this chapter, and second to, I guess that would have to be filled in, that blank line by Steve Gunn. Section 2-10-13, administration of tax. A, the revenue director is hereby charged with the enforcement and administration of the tax imposed by this chapter. B, except as otherwise provided in this chapter, the provisions of Part 4 of this code shall apply to the administration of the contractor's excise tax on new or expanded power production facilities. Section 2-10-14, promulgation of regulations. The revenue director may issue regulations, rulings, and instructions for the proper and efficient administration of this chapter. Be it further resolved that the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe special contractor's tax set forth herein shall be collected by the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe Revenue Department pursuant to Part 4 of the Tax Code of the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe. And motion to approve. Oh, what? I guess, wait a minute. There was one page left out of my copy for some reason. Be it finally resolved, and then that the disclaimer in my motion is to approve, pending legal.
We had a motion to approve by Ms. Lee, second by Mrs. Hall, pending legal. comments, questions? Mr. Russo, go ahead.
Thank you, Chairman. I just got a few questions. So who are we trying to tax? Everybody? Or just the non-members
what it-
or so
Contractors.
even enrolled members?
It says contractors in the definitions.
So
Under the definitions of a contractor, in that, on page 2, Mr. Russo. And this resolution, I know JD was one that was working on it, and Steve Gunn and the tax committee, but I think it stalled out somewhere throughout the years, that it was approved in 2012, but it was 2014. It was approved, but was pending legal, but it went to legal and it stayed there. It never did come back to council. So now it's back.
thank you. So, Chairman, I can't support this resolution or this tax code. We already pay taxes. And why do we pay taxes anyway? We're a sovereign tribe. The federal government owes us treaty obligations. So we pay taxes and then they use their tax money to fulfill their treaty obligations to us. So that, I got issues because I come from a family business that's been around since 1956, but never had a Cheyenne River Sioux tribal employment rights office license, TARO license it's called. So they already have the TARO license in effect, which is supposed to be giving us Indian preference, but our own members don't qualify for these TARO licenses, and not to mention the complete dormancy of the entire TARO Commission on all fronts, absolutely all fronts. I can't begin to explain how dormant and useless that office is, and and this is real, Chairman. The amount of utilities that we pay, these utility companies that receive federal dollars to provide resources to our members, and they're turning around and selling those resources to us at a high price. It's a monopoly out here. It's just crazy to think that we allow all these non-Indians to immigrate, South Africans, and to come on the reservation, farm the lands within the exterior boundaries of the reservation, and leave the tribe. And they come in here, they don't spend a dime. They don't even support local businesses. They don't support our local population by creating jobs, by employing our members. We got our own directors of these. You got Voc Rehab, Yate Connections, and TARO. They'll tell you how lazy people are. Our own members telling us how lazy our members are. Oh, they don't want to go to work. They don't have a car. They're not responsible enough to have a car. But you got other tribes that are giving people cars to get to work. They're doing all these things to help empower their population to work. And here we are, nothing. We don't do nothing. And how is this even on the table, Chairman LeBeau? We should be fighting during the year 3 of the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, one of the largest procurements that the federal government has ever allocated to help bolster the economies. And this is our answer, is to make it harder for our local contractors to exist here within the reservation. Where's that resolution that we passed at Human Services that's supposed to make it easier for our contractors to exist on this reservation? We have enough hardships. I don't understand why this is even on the floor right now. Yeah, the taxing's cool, but our TARO department, where a lot of these prime contractors already have to pay taxes, non-Indian prime contractors to boot, don't even hire. Tell you one thing, I'm trying to get all last year as a subcontractor, couldn't get one job, local job. They paved from Faith to Dupree, the whole paving road. Wasn't one Indian truck out there hauling aggregate. Matter of fact, they buy the aggregate from the Black Hills, from a non-Indian. They don't even want to buy aggregate from our tribe. And then we just had the DOT on the table here. So I support taxing the prime contractors that are non-Indians and to hold their feet to the fire more. But what better way to do that than with the existing TARO department? It's already there, and we're not doing it. We got Taro chair and one of the other Taro Commission members bring in this resolution, instead of just doing their job if you don't want to be on the Taro Commission, then get off. Quit making life havoc for the rest of the members on the reservation by creating it harder for us to be here. And otherwise, incorporate a clause in here for every time that the Bureau, the double dipping Bureau employees that have travel range units and are in procurement over there, every time they spend $1 in Pier on Sioux Avenue, that they get taxed 60%. Why can't we do something like that? Because we seem to have no problem hiring everything off the res, but we do absolutely nothing for our own members. And every time you spend money off the reservation for services and products you can receive here on the reservation, you're stealing money. You're stealing food off of the tables of our members, if they even have a table. That's how bad it is up here. So I can't support this resolution. And matter of fact, I condemn the actors that brought this to our table, and I'll continue to condemn it unless changes are made to exclude enrolled members from paying this tax. Thank you.
Hey, Ms. Lee, go ahead.
This was approved in 2014, and people have been paying it. Contractors have been paying this tax, but not every contractor. So it's being paid sporadically. And I know one of the concerns is we should all be concerned that we have a new school that's being constructed. We have a new tribal building, administration building. We have a new LTM that's being constructed, and there are a lot of projects that are coming. And we've missed out on millions of dollars. We're not collecting it from everyone. And Taro has been collecting it, but not in revenue, but not sporadically, I guess. And we should all be concerned we're going to lose out on many more millions of dollars with these projects coming, and we need this. We've needed this to move forward because people are already paying it. Contractors are already paying it, and we can't just not do it just because someone was thinking of their own business. On this council, we're supposed to put that aside if we have a business or whatever. We're not supposed to be worried about our own personal business. We're supposed to be worried about what's best for the people, all the people of Cheyenne River here, not just ourselves, not just whoever, one business. We're supposed to be worried about everyone and everything. So this is already in place, has been in place, and it's just that the legal didn't happen on it. But now Mr. Gunn is working on it.
Thank you, Ms. Lee.
He drafted this up,
Yeah.
but we didn't have the legal review attached. So.
Mr. Gunn's on the call here too. I got him on the phone. If any of you want to have any questions on the draft amendment, I remember this going through. It used to be called environmental fee, 1% environmental fee, and then the money would go towards the landfill and help them and procure other equipment, new equipment. It's always been a underfunded mandate for our tribe, and trying to get the tribe would always have to help the landfill out and getting them funded and whatnot. So we got a motion and a second to approve the resolution.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, go ahead, Steve.
In section 2-10-11, the word person in the title of that section should be changed to personal. And in section 2-10-12, the blank line should be replaced with either Cheyenne River Landfill or Cheyenne River Solid Waste, whatever the title is of that entity.
Okay, you want to include those, Ms. Lee?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I did correct that as I was reading it. I noticed it had person, 2-10-11. Person should be personal liability of officers, managers, or partners. And the other section Mr. Gunn had referred to was that 2-10-12, dedication of tax revenue. And it would be the second, and then 2, there was a line there. So that should be the CRST landfill. Mr. Gunn? Okay, yes, I believe.
I know that J.D. Williams wanted it dedicated to the Cheyenne River landfill. And whatever the correct legal name of Cheyenne River landfill is, if it's Cheyenne River landfill, you can use that, or if it's called Cheyenne River solid waste, just use the correct name.
Go ahead, Woodrow.
Good afternoon, Mr. Gunn. Can you hear me okay? Awesome. So I'm kind of curious, the tribal businesses already have to have a tribal business license. But once we have a tribal business license, why aren't we already automatically under TARO since we already pay the tribal business license? That's my first question.
The TARO ordinance applies to certain types of contractors doing certain types of work. So if you fit within the definition of a business subject to TARO, then you would be subject to the TARO ordinance.
Yes, I understand TARO and the tribal business license. I was just saying, that I just feel like it's requiring a lot of extra stuff from our tribal members to be able to participate in the free market economy. That's what my concern is. And so I don't see us requiring a lot of the other non-Indians to do the same. So we're essentially placing undue hardship on our tribal member businesses, tribal member contractors to be able to exist in the economy.
Amendment. This came from the tax committee, and it's to impose the 1% fee on contractors, and it does not discriminate against tribal members. It's applied equally.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Gunn. So that's the problem is as a tribal member, they don't have the ability to challenge this type of reform in the court system. The tribe enjoys tribal sovereign immunity. So if there is any hardships that are being burdened upon our tribal members, which I'm telling you there are, it already is a redundancy that a tribal member business has to have a tribal business license, and that once they have a tribal business license, they have to go through additional processes just to get on the TARO. So by our tribal leaders' inability to say, hey, for every tribal contractor that's already paid for a tribal business license, we're gonna go ahead and make it easy for you instead of making it hard for us to participate in the free market economy. Here, you paid your $100 for the tribal business license. Now you got a tribal TARO license. Since you're a tribal business license, you're a member, you automatically qualify for TARO. We're not doing that. But then you turn around, so then our tribal member businesses that don't have a TARO license, we don't get the same protections from TARO as the non-Indians that went through that process. And now you're gonna turn around and you're gonna impose additional taxes on these tribal member businesses. So I'm kind of concerned. So the next issue I have is why we're always talking about money this, money that. Why are we allowing the government entities that are here, the tribal departments, the BIA departments, BIE, GSA, to leave the reservation economy to purchase products and services off the reservation? And when that happens, so they evade the tax. So is that tax evasion if they do that?
This amendment does not, it doesn't touch on taro and it doesn't touch on procurement. This is a 1% tax on contractors who are engaged in realty improvement contracts.
Mr. Gunn, I didn't see the amendment being limited to, it says, and limit it to just realty improvement contractors.
You have to look at the definitions.
Yes, Mr. Gunn. So that's my issues with this. The final thing I wanna bring forth is I went to a tax commission meeting and expressed my concerns about the amount of agriculture goods that leave the exterior boundaries of the Indian reservation. I'm aware that the states have different taxes. So if you import or export grain from South Dakota to Minnesota, that you have to pay some kind of tax. And I've expressed this concern because this is real money. You know, the United States Department of Agriculture, one of the largest federal procurements is the Farm Bill, and the state of South Dakota being a welfare state, and our inability as a tribe to recognize these large sources of revenue, like the agricultural goods, and be able to incorporate real meaningful taxes that could change the lives of all the members of the tribe forever. And this is what we get. We pay you a lot of money to sit on this tax commission and to help these taxes, but at the same time, we ignore the Morro Grande Electric Company, their gerrymandering of their seats and bolstering these high prices, basically monopoly. You know, that's in the realm of taxation when you're paying, you know, this type of money to entities that arguably, you know, don't contribute as much as they could to our society, and of course agriculture taxes that we're missing out on. So, you know, I'm really concerned that, you know, maybe this 1% tax that we're trying to impose on contractors, our inability to understand that, and it just blows my mind because we still have 4 tribal council representatives that have tribal range units that are subsidized and they don't have to pay fair market value, but we still bring, you know, these challenging documents that hinder and slow progress of other tribal members on this reservation. So for a group of tribal employees or tribal members that get a lot of handouts, they sure don't like to share those handouts. And I just wanted to point that out. Mr. Gunn, as we continue to move forward as a tribe, under influence from myself and other more proactive leaders, we're not going to tolerate these type of minuscule efforts by our tribal attorneys or other tribal professionals. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. And Mr. Chairman, if I can just say that I do represent the tribe, and when I'm assigned legal work, I do the legal work, but I don't get to vote on whether to pass or not pass a tax. That's a political decision for the tribe. My job is with the committee, do the legal work that they have to do. But then when it comes to the council floor, that's a decision for the council.
Okay, Ms. Lee and then Mrs. Hall.
I'll let Mrs. Hall go first.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, if you read on the definitions, section 2-10-1, it spells out prime contractor means any person engaged in realty improvement contracts or contracts for construction services. And it goes on to describe in number 4, realty improvement shall mean the repair or remodeling of existing realty or the construction of a completely new project, such as construction of roads, bridges, buildings, towers, items affixed to real property, or any works specifically mentioned, and it gives the authorization there, and then it goes on to exempt in section 2-10-2, applicability of chapter number 2. It says that the following services are exempt from the provisions of this chapter: floor laying and other floor work not elsewhere classified, repair shops and related services not elsewhere classified, but only locksmiths and locksmith shops. So this tax, it doesn't mean every contractor or subcontractor doing business on Cheyenne River. It's very specific to the type of contracting work that they're going to do. It lays it out. And, you know, and we do have the power to tax. And that 1%, you know, is going, that's the purpose of revenue, is to provide funds for infrastructure development and maintenance and repair and so forth. And by it going to sanitary landfill, you know, that's a necessary service to members living within the exterior boundaries of our reservation. So, you know, I just want to point that out. It does not apply to every contractor that's licensed on Cheyenne River. It's very specific as to whom it applies. Thank you.
Ms. Lee?
Chairman LeBeau, thank you. And on where the line was, Mr. Gunn asked for the legal name of the landfill, and it would be Cheyenne River Sanitary Landfill is the legal name of it. So that would be part of the motion. Motion to approve with the correction of those two areas.
Okay, we got a motion and another amendment. Second still there. Madam Secretary, please call for the vote.
Bryce Woods, absent. Steve Moran,
Yes.
Ted Knife Jr., absent. John Kessler,
Yes.
Kenrick DePreez, Sharon Lee,
Yes.
Mary Miller,
Yes.
Kelsey Haskell,
Yes.
Thad Rose,
Yes.
Derek Bartlett,
Yes.
Francine Hall,
Yes.
Joe Brinksplenny, Bob Walters, Ronald Russo, Tuffy Thompson. Thank you.
Yes, 1 no, 0 abstain, 2 absent, motion carries. Council, let's go with the land report. We got the land director here. A good job on that resolution. Took us 6, 7, 9 years to make that change.
9 years charm.
Steve, thanks for getting on.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we're going to go into land. So. Appreciate your time. So.
Yeah, thank you.
Council will try to get as much as we can done this evening. Secretary has to be gone tomorrow, so we'll have to, how much ever we get done, after that, we probably have to adjourn this session. So if you have any resolutions that need to get done, let us know and we'll put them on the floor.
Real quick.
Yes, go ahead.
Real quick, Mr. Chairman, I had a memo for your signature handed out. It's just a memorandum for CRST, the tribal liaison for the prisons. It just, basically it gives a point of contact for Department of Corrections within South Dakota for our CRST. Every tribe has it, and Tony Handboy and myself have been on that tribal liaisons list for, I don't know, probably since 2006. So it's just a letter requesting for council to support that. Chairman's
Motion to
signature.
approve designating Tony Handboy as the tribal liaison to the Department of Correction, South Dakota Department of Corrections.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion by Mrs. Hall, second by Mr. Bartlett to approve. Comments, Mr. Walters.
No, he's delegating.
All right.
Okay, Madam Secretary, please call for the vote.
Bryson Woods, absent Steve Moran.
Yes.
Ted Knight Jr., absent John Kessler.
Yes.
Kenrick DePreez. Sharon Lee.
Yes.
Mary Miller. Yes. Kelsey Haskell.
Yes.
Thad Rose.
Yep.
Derek Bartlett.
Yes.
Francine Hall. Joe Brinkspuddy. Bob Walters. Ronald Russo. Duffy Thompson. Thank you.
I got 12 yes, 0 no, 1 abstain, 2 absent, motion carries. Mr. Brinkspuddy.
Mr. Chairman, one more thing. It's just for information as far as the Great Plains Tribal Chairmen's Association resolution that was presented. And what it is asking for the BIA and changing policy on waivers to give automatic waiver for law enforcement officers to be hired under their contract. They require for all individuals to be certified before they can get on the road. This is basically asking them to give an automatic waiver, and there'll be some training like we done for the 4 new hires that we did previously through the law enforcement under the 638. And there are waivers within BIA's policies, but it's really tough to get a waiver. And previously we had to hire a law firm to actually get those waivers done. So basically this here was taken to the Great Plains Tribal Chairmen's Association, Rapid City, last week, and it was supported and it was passed. So just for your information, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brinkspuddy, and thanks for coming out to the meeting. It was great to advocate for your causes. Give it to Mr. Brinkspuddy. Ms. Whiteball.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
just called and asked them to make copies of a resolution, which I would like to present. As you know, our education committee meeting was scheduled for today, but we're having a special session. This would have been presented today. It's regarding Takini School. And if you'll let me, I'd like to read the resolution into record. I'll speak loud and put this up to my mouth. And make a motion to approve. And then when they bring over the resolutions, I'll make sure you guys all get them because they're bringing them over. I just have them by email. And I apologize, if we could have had our committee today, we would have brought it through, but there's an urgency here. So I'll go to the fourth whereas on this resolution. Whereas the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe, CRST is the grantee for the Takini School on the Cheyenne River Sioux Reservation under a grant from the United States Department of Interior, Bureau of Indian Education, and United States Department of Education. And whereas the Takini School had a statement of work for quarters 504, 505, 506, 507, 508 for the reshingle project issued July 17th, 2016. And whereas the Takini School quarters project never commenced, bringing further extensive damages to the existing quarters. And whereas the Bureau of Indian Affairs is scheduled within days to begin soliciting bids for 5 quarters renovation. And whereas the Takini School Board met on December 14th, 2023, and by motion declared the 5 quarters that the BIA identified as poor condition in accordance with the housing manual are beyond the condition of remodeling. And whereas the Takini School Board is requesting the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe and grantee to now demand the BIA replace the existing 5 quarters with 5 new quarters for the Takini School. And now therefore be it resolved, the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe and the Takini School Board is notifying the BIA that the Takini quarter renovation project is not acceptable and demands the BIA to replace the existing 5 quarters with new stick-built quarters. And then it's got the disclaimer. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make that motion.
We've got a motion by Ms. Whiteball, second by Mr. DePreez. Comments or questions on the resolution? Madam Secretary, whenever you're ready, please call for the vote.
Ray Cinderwoods, absent Steve Moran.
Yes.
Tim Knife Jr., absent John Kessler.
Yes.
Kenrick DePreez. Sharon Lee.
Yes.
Mary Miller.
Yes.
Kelsey Haskell.
Yes.
Thad Rose.
Yes.
Derek Bartlett.
Yes.
Francine Hall. Joel Briggs Plenty. Absent Bob Walters. Ronald Russo. Tuffy Thompson. Thank you.
12 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain, 3 absent, motion carries. Mrs.
Thank you,
Whiteball?
Mr. Chairman, thank you, Tribal Council. That's it.
Okay. Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
I have 2 things. I promise I'll be fast. One of them, I was wondering if either your administration or if you would let me make a motion. I want to have an employee appreciation for our tribe in January, if that's possible or if that's anything that anyone else is interested in. Would you need a motion to that or
Sure. we
for
can,
HR to start the process on that?
Say it again.
For HR to start the process, or that's who was in charge of it the last one I went to.
What was it again?
HR
I did-
for our employee appreciation.
Yeah.
Would you need a motion to that, or do you want us to just refer it to administration?
You can refer it, and I'll visit with you more about it.
Okay, I would like to make a motion to refer to administration and employee appreciation for the month of January. Thank you.
Here we got a motion by Ms. Haskell to refer. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Rose and Mr. Walters. All in favor, raise your hand. Opposed? 1 not voting, 11 yes. 1 not voting, motion carries.
And my next thing, Mr. Chairman, we have a member of District 5. Her name is Shannon Morgan. She's been waiting on her ARPA check since they came out. She hasn't received a check. I haven't got a response from legal as to if we can pay her or not. At this point, do we even need legal? Can I just make a motion to pay her and her children's ARPA to her? She was? Okay, thank you. I just had a list of things here. Thank you.
Mrs. Medicine Blanket? Are we ready for our land report? Oh, she needs a mic. Can you take this one here? There's another one there too. So we'll give the floor to the land director and we'll get into the land report. Who's the vice? All right, we got Mr. Kessler.
Thank you, Chairman. Welcome, Ms. Medicine Blanket. We've got the Land and Natural Resource Committee meeting August 15th, 2023. Committee members present. Representative Knife, Kessler, Walters, Thompson, Rose, Dupreez, and Moran. Also on hand was the LNRO staff, Ms. Medicine Blanket and Michonne Shaving. BIA in attendance, Sherry Minor, Realty Office acting. Called to order at 10:07 a.m. Prayers by Mr. Vice Chair Walters. And if we want to get right to the action items, Ms. Medicine Blanket, if you would go ahead and get to the first resolution.
Good afternoon, everybody. The items that are crossed out on your agenda are what were approved executively. So we'll move on down to number 2. It's a proposed land assignment from Hawk 1890 Omnichie. At this time, I do not have a resolution draft to present. I am still waiting for the aerial photo and the legal description. If you guys want to approve pending, or if you want to table until we have the documentation.
I would make a motion to approve pending resolution.
Okay, we got a motion to approve by Mr. Kessler, second by Mr. Walters, pending. For the proposed land assignment for Hawk 1890. Comments or questions from council members? We'll call for a vote. Madam Secretary, whenever you're ready, please call for the vote.
Bryce Underwood, absent. Steve Moran,
Yes.
Ted Knife Jr., absent. John Kessler,
Yes.
Kenrick Dupreez, Sharon Lee,
Yes.
Mary Miller, yes. Kelsey Haskell,
Yes.
Thad Rose,
Yes.
Derek Bartlett,
Yes.
Francine Hall, Joe Brinksplenny, absent Bob Walters, Ronald Russo, Tuffy Thompson.
12 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain, 3 absent, motion carries. Mr. Kessler?
Go ahead to the next action item, if you would, please.
So the next item on the agenda is to reaffirm a previous motion to end the detail of the BIA land officer. I don't know if this is still relevant since she is now here.
Council, how do you want to proceed on this one?
Motion to disapprove.
Mr. Kessler, you have the floor.
Go ahead and proceed.
Okay, moving on to the next motion on the agenda is the Game Fish and Parks 2023 deer season for rifles. The motion is to recommend opening the rifle deer season for tribal members on November 4th, 2023.
Yeah. Mr. Walters.
Mr. Chairman, I did talk to Mr. Kumbalik today about the deer season. We've always had deer season till December 31st. And so I would like to make a motion to extend it till December 31st. That's my motion. December 31st, yeah. It's over on the 24th, according to the tags. And at our one of our meetings, we had them extend more deer license out, 125 tags. And so it's no more than right to extend the deer season to December 31st. That's my motion, Mr. Chairman.
You just want to do this motion that's in the minutes and then add
I
your
don't-
amendment onto it?
I can't find the minutes behind this. We don't have them. There's just a bunch of resolutions.
So the motion is to recommend opening the rifle deer season for tribal members on November 4th in 2023. And you can add your amendment on there, on this.
Okay. So I'll make a motion to approve with amending it to close deer season on December 31st.
Okay, we got a
December
motion.
31st.
Got a motion by Mr. Walters to approve, and the opening and the closing date will be
December 31st, 2024. At dark.
okay. December 31st, 2023. That's a whole year.
We should be able to extend it for a whole year because people need meat. So 2023, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we got a motion by Mr. Walters. Is there a second on the motion? Second by Mrs. Hall. Comments on the actions? Madam Secretary, please call for the vote.
I have a question. Thank you. So if the closing date's December 31st, if they come in January and ask if they can extend it to end of January, can you do that?
This body can?
At the January session?
Right.
Bryce Underwood's absent. Steve Moran?
Yes.
Ted Knight Jr., absent. John Kessler?
Yes.
Kenrick DePreez? Sharon Lee?
Yes.
Mary Miller? Kelsey Haskell?
Yes.
Thad Rose?
No.
Derek Bartlett?
No.
Francine Hall?
Yes.
Joe Brings Plenty? Absent Bob Walters? Ronald Russo? Tuffy Thompson? Thank you.
Nine yes, 2 no, 1 abstain, 3 absent. Motion carries. Mr. Kessler.
Thank you, Chairman. Next on the list is Game Fish and Parks 2023 Wild Elk Season. Mr. Kumbolik, the wildlife biologist, presented the proposed season fees and limits for this year's wild elk season. And see attached included with draft resolution for details.
Mr. Kessler, you make a motion on this?
Yeah, motion to approve.
Okay. We got a motion to approve with resolution by Mr. Kessler, second by Mr. Rose, go ahead for your comment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to let everybody know that I made the motion back in Land Committee to have our biologist develop this because there's always been a question on the elk that are out, and people have asked for a long time, what happens with them? Are they free game? Are they not? Are they protected? Are they still classified as somebody's livestock, whether they got out from the tribe or they've gotten out from other game ranches? And the only way that you can actually protect these wild elk, because once they're out and they start breeding, and those elk that are born in the wild are classified as wild as far as I see, is to develop a season limits and fees and subsequently close that so that they are protected and able to flourish and expand as a population. And I just letting everybody know that it's not a motion to say, hey, you can go shoot an elk right now. It's a way for us as a tribe to protect it and let this population grow. Thank you.
Any other comments? Yes, ma'am.
Just for reference, there is only one resolution that was submitted on behalf of the 2023 wild elk season, and the following section here is 2023 fall upland bird season. Mr. Kumbalik had combined both of them into one resolution that is attached here with both season fees and limits, the handouts that are available on the website. It's combined with the wild elk.
Want to amend your motion to include the upland game birds?
Yeah, I will amend my motion to include the upland game birds as it's included in the resolution.
Yes.
Did you want me to read this in, Chairman?
Second still there? Good. If you like, you can read it in. But with land committee report, it's always if it says resolution,
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, we're good.
Good enough. There's some challenging words in there anyway. So.
Okay, we call for the vote, Madam Secretary. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry about that.
Absent Francine Hall,
Yes.
Joe Brisbane. Absent Bob Walters. Ronald Russo. Kathy Council.
Yes.
Ten yes, 0 no, 1 abstain, 4 absent. Motion carries. Mr. Kessler.
Thank you, Chairman. The next one was included in the resolution. It was Game Fish and Parks 2023 Fall Upland Bird Season. Mr. Kumbalik presented the proposed season fees limits for the year. It's Fall Upland Bird Season. See the attachments included with draft resolution. So that one's done. Next action item is Tribal Range Unit 127 and 236. This was referred to Tribal Council for discussion. Dylan Duchnell, Jaden Duchnell, permittees for Tribal Range Unit 127, accompanied by Janie Duchnell, along with Administrator of Todd Duchnell's estate, Judge Curtis Carroll, on speakerphone, addressed the committee to propose a switch of permits for range units 127 and 236, since Dillon's land is mostly within range unit 236. Discussion revealed that if the exchange were to happen, the new permittee would be required to install a large amount of border fence. Motion to refer was by Mr. Thompson, seconded by Mr. Dupreez. That's my motion, is for discussion, Chairman.
Yeah, we got a motion. Is there a second? Oh, I'm sorry. Do we have a, council, you want to take any action on this?
Let's send it
Chairman
back
Bo?
if you want.
I think in a land committee meeting after that, it was decided that if the documents weren't signed, I believe then it would be advertised, but that was in a meeting after this one, I think, addressing that same issue.
I guess I'd call for no action, Chairman, as it's going to come up in the next set of minutes.
Ms. Medicine Blanket?
Just for clarification, the last time that committee had met on this issue was during the November, was it November? October Land Committee meeting. And it was referred to council to advertise range unit 236. So that will be presented during the October or November, I think. But it was after, quite a few months after this one, so there's been many actions since.
Thank you, Chairman. I think this issue is going to highlight a lot of the flaws that our tribal land management has, from Bureau employees that have range units and that affect the compliance of these range units through their deceitful personal dealings, and also our tribal council officials who are sitting on this tribal council who persistently keep the lease rate low for personal financial gain in complete disregard of our tribal population. And that's some serious issues. And I, it's not easy for me to sit here and say this, but it affects my district really bad. But this issue here, it was clear as day. We made a motion to allow these heirs to apply for the range unit. And immediately, next day, no one knew what was going on. Carly she wasn't allowing them to apply individually. They had to do these counted jelly beans in the jar. And then even Wendy Wells, the new superintendent, they had Mona Longbreak and Jerry Vines and Wendy Wells all, deciphering the tribal council action. Well, we want to see who all voted for it, like they have any authority over there. This is a major problem in our land, for our tribal land. It's our largest resource next to humans. And we're letting our own tribal leaders exploit this resource. So this is a big problem. Thank you.
Hey, council, let's take no action on this. As stated, it'll be addressed in future minutes. Looks like we can go on to our next one, Mr. Kessler.
Thank you, Chairman. The next action needed is Tribal Range Unit 456, Bierman Land Exchange. Jeremy Eaton, permittee for Tribal Range Unit 456, is presented to request the council reconsideration approving to complete the land exchange with Ronald Bierman, because Range Unit 456 is made up of the fee lands involved in the exchange. Mr. Eaton went on to explain that he has invested an estimated $69,000 for improvements and operations in the last 5 years. In February 2018, the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe approved to complete an exchange of lands with Ronald Bierman. Discussion commenced in regards to the tribal land Mr. Bierman wants to acquire, and the history showing that each tract is not accessible because they are surrounded by fee land which he owns. Also, the cost of fencing for each tract would be a great expense for the lessee. Mr. Bierman's land is consolidated. His water and is accessible if the tribe wishes to use it for agricultural leasing. Appraisals were acquired and submitted for the record. However, during the completion process, a discrepancy was discovered in the legal description involving the fee tract of Mr. Bierman. Currently, the fee land is under a 5-year permit with Tribal Range Unit 456, Jeremy Eaton, which the tribe is collecting an annual rental fee for. In April 2021, a motion was entertained by Tribal Council to amend Resolution Number 20-2018 CR to correct the legal description of the fee land to complete the exchange process between the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe and Ronald Bierman. With a legal review attached from Attorney General Zephyr, the last time the matter was in front of council, the motion to complete the exchange failed because of the question of exchanging lands with non-member, non-Indians was justifiable in the tribal constitution. Motion to refer the proposed amendment resolution number 20-2018 CR regarding the Bierman land trade to tribal council for reconsideration. Motion by Representative Thompson, seconded by Representative Rose. Motion carried 6-4-0 against. That's my motion.
Yes.
I didn't include this land exchange in the packet because I haven't gotten a review back. It had come up later on in another meeting and it was referred to the Attorney General Craven. And I'm still waiting for a review. Was that during allocation when it came up? I believe that's the council action during the allocation for Range Unit 456 was to refer it to the Attorney General Craven for review. And we are waiting for that.
Okay. Guess we'll table this one, Chair.
Yeah, and I know she's working on it. Also with the BIA, I believe I saw some emails on it and what needed to be done, and how they can get that addressed. So if you want to continue on, Mr. Kessler.
Thank you, Chairman. Next is the proposed land exchange completion. Leslie A. Duchnell. Leslie Ellen Duchnell is proposing to complete a land exchange between the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe and himself. The reason for exchange is to consolidate his land near his home site, which is located near the old Cheyenne River Agency. The legal descriptions of the tribal land that Mr. Duchnell wishes to acquire in his exchange is as follows. Tract 8365. It's a 1/1. It's looks like in Range Unit 217, Dewey County. Acreage is 3.49. Total value $2,760.56. And the legal description of the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe will be conveys is as follows. Tract 484, Leslie Duchnell. Looks like it's in Dewey County, 0.5 acres with an estimated value of $918.56. Total value of tract 462.62. The total value is $3961.68. Difference in value is $1,201.12 to be waived by Leslie Ellen Duchnell. Motion to recommend approving to direct the Bureau of Indian Affairs to complete the proposed exchange of lands between Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe and Leslie Duchnell as described above. Motion by Representative Walters, seconded by Representative Moran. That's my motion.
Okay, we got a motion by Mr. Kessler, second by Mr. Walters. Comments or questions, council members? Madam
Chairman
Secretary.
LeBeau?
Oh, yes,
I
ma'am,
have
go
a
ahead.
question for Carly. Who is Range Unit 217?
Range Unit 217.
Yes. That Clay's?
It's a gray. I'm not sure if it's clay.
Oh, okay, thank you. Clay Claimer?
It might be clay claimer. I'm sorry.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just had a question. Looking at the land that Mr.
Yes, go ahead.
This is a trust tract. It is in trust status, even though it is outside of. So that is what the tribe will be gaining is the interest.
Any more comments? Sections for completion. The land trade, Madam Secretary, please call for the vote.
Bryce Woods, absent Steve Moran.
Yes.
Ted Ive Jr., absent John Kessler.
Yes.
Kenrick DePreez. Sharon Lee.
Yes.
Mary Miller.
Yes.
Kelsey Haskell.
Yes.
Thad Rose.
Yes.
Derek Bartlett.
Yes.
Francine Hall. Joe Brinksplenny. Absent Bob Walters. Ronald Russo. Tuffy Thompson. Thank you.
Eleven yes, 0 no, 1 abstain, 3 absent, motion carries. Mr. Kessler?
Thank you, Chairman. Next action needed is a proposed land exchange completion. Jules Lamb. Jules Lamb is proposing to complete a land exchange between the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe and himself. The reason for the exchange is to consolidate his land within Farm Pasture 655, which he currently leases. The legal description of the tribal land that Mr. Lamb wishes to acquire in exchange is as follows. Track T485C, that's a CRST 1/1, Northeast 4, Section 16, T15 North, R26E, Black Hills Meridian. Farm Pasture 655 Dewey, it's 160 acres in total. And the total value of tract is $120,450. And the tract that he wishes to trade is 495. Jules Lamb, owner interest 4/9. Looks like it's in Range Unit 274, Dewey County, 68 acres, $62,222.22. Another 28.53 acres in Range Unit 114, total value of $2,682.29. Another 1.23 acres in Range Unit 114. Value is $1,229.17. Another 40 acres in Range Unit 183. Total value $40,000. And then 20 acres in Range Unit 183 with a total value of $20,000. Total acreage is 157.97 acres. And total value is $126,133.68. Difference in value is $5,683.68 to be waived by Jules Lamb. Motion to recommend approving to direct the Bureau of Indian Affairs to complete the proposed exchange of lands between the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe and Jules Lamb as described above. Motion by Representative Thompson, seconded by Representative Walters. That's my motion.
Okay, we got a motion by Mr. Kessler. Is there a second? Second by Ms. Haskell for land trade completion with the tribe. Comments or questions, Madam Secretary, please call for the vote.
Bryce Underwoods, absent Steve Moran.
Yes.
Tonight Junior, absent John Kessler.
Yes. Yes.
Kenrick DePreez, Sharon Lee,
Yes.
Mary Miller,
Yes.
Kelsey Haskell.
Yes.
Thad Rose.
Yes.
Derek Bartlett.
Yes.
Francine Hall. Joe Brings Plenty. Absent Bob Walters, Ronald Russo. Tuffy Thompson. Thank you.
Eleven yes, 0 no, 1 abstain, 3 absent. Motion carries. Mr. Kessler.
Thank you, Chairman. Next action is International Sundance Grounds, additional acreage. In 2012, the Greengrass International Sundance was assigned 10 acres of tribal land for a Sundance ground located within the community of Greengrass. Today, the group is requesting additional acreage for expansion. The motion to recommend amending resolution number assigning Greengrass International Sundance and assignment of tribal land located within the Greengrass community to include an additional 4.37 acres. Motion by Representative Thompson, seconded by Representative Rose. That's my motion.
Okay, we got a motion by Mr. Kessler, second by Mrs. Hall. Comments or questions from the council members? Madam Secretary, please call for the vote.
Bryce Underwoods, absent Steve Moran.
Yes.
Tonight Junior, absent John Kessler.
Yes.
Kenrick DePreez, Sharon Lee,
Yes.
Mary Miller, Kelsey Haskell.
Yes.
Thad Rose.
Yes.
Derek Bartlett.
Yes.
Francine Hall. Joe Brings Plenty, absent Bob Walters, Ronald Russo. Absent Tuffy Thompson. Thank you.
Eleven yes, 0 no, 0 abstain, 4 absent. Motion carries. Mr. Kessler, go ahead.
Thank you, Chairman. The next action is a relinquishment of home site assignment for Nanette Hale. In 2012, Nanette Hale was assigned 2 lots on tribal land for a home site within the community of Dupree via resolution number.
Mr. Kessler. You can go down to number 26. Delbert Shorty Garrett. Mr. Rodeo. Cheyenne River's finest ever.
Okay, we got a proposed new dam, Delbert Shorty Garrett. Delbert Shorty Garrett requests for an easement for a new dam on tribal land for the purpose of installing a new dam to provide access to water for his livestock located within Tribal Range Unit 306A. Legal description is as follows. Within the southwest 4, northeast 4, northeast 4, section 33, township 15, RE Black Hills Meridian, total footage 1320 by 1320, tribal tract T7509, all lands lying within the tribal range unit 306A. Motion to recommend approving Delbert Shorty Garrett's request for easement for a new dam on tribal land to install a new dam to water livestock located within range unit 306A. Motion by Representative Thompson, seconded by Representative Moran. That's my motion.
Got a motion by Mr. Kessler, second Madam Secretary, please call for the vote.
Bryce Cinderwoods, absent Steve Moran.
Yes.
Ted Knife Jr., absent John Kessler.
Yes.
Kenrick Dupreez. Sharon Lee.
Yes.
Mary Miller. Yes. Kelsey Haskell.
Yes.
Thad Rose.
Yes.
Derek Bartlett. Absent Francine Hall.
Yes.
Joe Brinksplenny, absent Bob Walters. Ronald Russo. Tuffy Thompson. Thank you.
Ten yes, 0 no, 1 abstain, 4 absent, motion carries. Mr. Kessler?
Thank you, Chairman. The next one is amendment to the land assignment, CR Head Start Swiftburg. In 2018, the Cheyenne River Head Start program was assigned 1.131 acres of tribal land to establish a new school facility located within the Swiftburg community via resolution number 316, 2018 CR. Due to lack of available utility services, the Cheyenne River Head Start program is requesting to relocate to a more suitable location in the area. Resolution number 316, 2018 CR will need to be amended to correct the legal description, aerial photos, and legal description is included with draft resolution. Motion to recommend to amend resolution number 316, 2018 CR, assigning 1.131 acres of tribal land to Start program located within the community of Swiftburg to correct the legal description to reflect the new proposed location for their new facility. Motion by Representative Thompson, second by Representative Freeze, and that's my motion.
Okay, we got a motion by Mr. Kessler with resolution, second by Mrs. Miller-Whitebowl. Mr. Walters, comments or questions? Madam Secretary, please call for the vote.
Bryce Cinderwoods, absent Steve Moran.
Yes.
Ted Knife Jr., absent John Kessler.
Yes.
Kenrick Dupreez. Sharon Lee.
Yes.
Mary Miller. Kelsey Haskell.
Yes.
Thad Rose.
Yes.
Derek Bartlett. Absent Francine Hall.
Yes.
Joe Brinksplenny, absent Bob Walters. Ronald Russo. Tuffy Thompson. Thank you.
Ten yes, 0 no, 1 abstain, 4 absent, motion carries. Mr. Kessler?
Thank you, Chairman. I guess the next one was the beef herd. I see it's been scratched through. Has that been taken care of?
Yeah, that has been leased out to another individual.